All right, let me kick this thing off.
No sirve, no, no sirve para nada.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cantina Mex Football Podcast, broadcasting live on Twitter Spaces and YouTube. We have a really good one tonight with America and Tigres qualifying to the final. We're going to be talking about those matches, and I think it's time to revisit the Big Four. We had a discussion this week on the chat, and I think it's time to revisit the Big Four in Mexico. We also have Colombia versus Mexico friendly coming up on the 16th. So we'll talk about the players that were called up for that. A little bit of a head scratcher. And Leon prepares for the Club World Cup. So before I go any further, I want to welcome Abdias and Al Pastor to the podcast. How we doing?
Buenas, buenas, señores. Como siempre, todo un gusto estar aquí y listo para echar desmadre. Como dicen en mi rancho, solo vine por los pinches terrenos.
We are getting closer to that time of the year. We're going to have posadas and family gatherings, borracheras, and of course, the terrenos always fighting over whose is what is mine, mine is yours. And man,
No, qué pedo, güey. No, no, eso es mío, eh. Yo le soy las patas a mi abuelita cuando ya casi no, güey. No, nadie quería. So, se chingó.
Hey, well, look, the big story tonight is Tigres were able to beat Pumas in the semifinal, and with that, they sent Turco Mohamed packing. He has resigned as coach, and I don't know, is he going back to Argentina? I heard he wants the Boca job, or maybe Rayados. That was the latest rumor. But I feel like this guy switches teams like I switch my socks, man.
I mean, bro, Jose ain't loyal, and the main thing is every single time you change a job, you get a better pay grade, right? So, why not?
I'm a little disappointed. I felt like he was just getting things going over there at UNAM, and he has a pretty solid team. It just wasn't enough to get past Tigres, and they did lose 2-1 in a global. I think the big story though was,
Which, let's be honest, isn't even bad.
yeah, it's not even bad. And Chino Huerta had a penalty kick very early on in the match, which was blocked. And he was like, "Wait, you guys aren't gonna let me redo it?" And just when you thought the close was clear, they actually scored off of the corner kick. So they did make good for that. But I think Chino Huerta has shown some of his shortcomings, some of his character flaws.
I mean, mi gallo de oro isn't the best at penalties tampoco, entonces, también, güey. Like, la cagas de vez en cuando, ¿verdad? Sí, está pendejo, pero he's not a forward per se, is he? Like, is he a designated striker?
Not
More of a
really.
winger. Exactly. So, güey, we're right in the chinomanía, pero también, güey, no mames, you're leaving him out to dry.
I don't know.
¿Verdad?
He's been, this has been his breakout season. He's, the top goal scorer for the team, and he's been given the responsibility of taking penalty kicks. And I feel like he is just a very inconsistent, taker. I mean, we saw what he did for the selección, missed it twice, or not even missed it. The goalkeeper guessed right twice, and then he finally put it away on the third time. But he's not someone that should be taking PKs.
Yeah, definitely not. At that point, you gotta rethink your strategy. But at this point, what the fuck even is your strategy? Because you don't have un director técnico. So,
Yeah.
estás jodiendo.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, with Tigres getting into the final, beating Pumas, and the joke of the other side of the semifinal, which was San Luis America, Like San Luis didn't even show up, dude. At least in that first game, they just bent over
In
and
the first game, pero in the second game, güey,
yeah,
donde
but
según... No, güey, pero espérate también. Ok, te metieron la riata, ok, está bueno. Pero por lo menos peleaste, güey. Like, hay una diferencia entre te violaron y te dejaste, ¿verdad? Entonces, por lo menos en la segunda vinieron con las garras de fuera y se defendieron un poco y metieron goles y honestamente, güey, hicieron ver mal al América.
no, they did.
Porque, espérate, le metiste 5 y ahora estás batallando acá, ¿qué pedo?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think for the fans that showed up for the return leg and El Estadio Azteca got ripped off because like the team just didn't really show up to play and they lost. They lost at home, which was embarrassing, which gives me like, I think especially like Habibi has been saying, "Oh, this is America's title." Ricardo's been saying this is it, and I've been on the fence like, nah, I don't think they're that good. And then they do this to San Luis, the 5-0. I'm like, oh shit, maybe this is the best team in the league. But then they showed like flaws in that second game, and that makes me think that this final is going to be a lot tighter than what it seems. Um, but just an absolute embarrassment from San Luis in that first leg, dude. Like I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Like, even I was like, wait, tienen al comandante, a Jurgen Damm, y no pueden meter goles, güey, qué pedo.
This is the team that beat Rayados. Like Rayados, how do you lose to that, dude?
Exactly. So I was like, no mames, güey, qué pedo. Entonces ahí estuvimos viendo, pero pues no hay pedo, ¿verdad? La cosa es ahora, ¿qué va a pasar con el AME? Porque yo dije, ¿verdad? Y se los he dicho y muchas veces lo he dicho en este podcast, ¿verdad? Que Tigres lo que tiene es garra y sabe ganar feo,
Mm-hmm.
¿verdad? Entonces, ¿qué va a pasar cuando se venga ese momento y ellos ganen un bicampeonato otra vez? No otra vez, ¿verdad? Pero que vuelva a ser un bicampeonato en la Liga Mexicana.
Mm-hmm.
Ok, entonces son dos cosas. La primera es, ahora, son considerados un grande y la segunda, entonces en realidad es el momento de reevaluar
Yep.
el campeonato mexicano si ha habido dos bicampeones back to back.
Yeah, it would for once in the short season format, it's starting to look like a little bit more consistent if Tigres pull off the bicampeonato. Atlas did it. So, I feel like from that aspect it has become a little bit more consistent. And yeah, you kind of stole my thunder there, but we've been really having discussions there about the big four, right? Because in historical sense, it's been Chivas, America, Cruz Azul, and Pumas. But look, I've been looking at the results since we switched to short season, which was in 1997. And since we moved to that short season, we've had at the top, Toluca and Pachuca with 7 titles, Tigres with 6, Santos with 6, America with 5, Pumas with 4, Rayados with 4, Chivas with 3, León with 2, Atlas with 2, Cruz Azul with 2, and then a single title for Necaxa, Morelia, Tijuana, and Atlante. So looking at it from that lens, I think that the big four in Liga MX is America, Chivas, Toluca, and if Tigres win their 7th title, I would put them at number 4. But if they do lose to America, then the honorable mention for number 4 has to be Pachuca.
¿Sabes qué, güey? Como dije, vine aquí por los terrenos y aunque no sean los míos, voy a perder por los de mi primo del norte, ¿verdad? Porque de acá soy. Entonces, no seas mamón. Pachuca, güey. Por favor, respétate.
All right, so this is my
Pero espérate.
All right,
Before we
go
even
ahead.
get there. Hold on, before we even get there, let's keep talking about the game that's coming. Let's not talk about the power rankings yet, right? So, como estaba diciendo, Tigres sabe cómo ganar feo,
Uh-huh.
¿verdad? So, I honestly think that they haven't had as easy of a route as America. and they've been able to find consistency still, and they've been riding that wave. Y aparte, güey, el plantel está de a poca madre. Entonces, I see Tigres winning it, dude. I don't see America doing it. Like, the thing that we've all seen about America time and time again is when they get hit in the chin, they fucking crumble, right? Over and over again. Entonces, la única vez, güey, que he visto que, y en realidad fue la única vez que en esta temporada que se fueron los madrazos, fue contra Santos. ¿Verdad? Que they ate 3 in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they're not fucking invincible.
No, they're not.
Right? And if you hit them on the chin, they will crumble. Por eso mismo es que Ricardo se está escondiendo ahorita. ¿Verdad? Because he's got that fragile
He's
chin.
hiding, dog. Where is he?
Güey, se esconde todo el tiempo.
I know,
Viene
man.
acá bien salsa y al último momento como pinche perrito ahí escondido.
Yeah. Looks like Joel's joining us. Joel, welcome to the show, man.
Greeting, lads. Glad I could make it.
Buenas,
Talking
buenas.
about missed you a días. I'm guessing you've been with us cariñosas.
Güey, pues un poquito, ¿no? Mira, dice la esposa que no hay pedo con que ella pueda ver. So, si le gusta, ahí ella.
We did it on Monday, and I figured that's when they have the 2-for-1 specials. So I don't think we're going to see a días.
No, güey,
That was last week.
Mira, the 2-for-1 special, and acá en mi rancho, we call it the C-section special. So,
Oh
sucker
my
for
God.
those. So, para allá voy. Un poquito de cottage cheese y C-section. I'm there all day, bro.
So Joel, to catch you up, I made a bold statement talking about how Pumas and Cruz Azul should no longer be considered a grande in Liga MX. And my modern list is America, Chivas, Toluca, and if Tigres win this one to get their 7th title, it would be Tigres. If not, number 4 would be Pachuca. And
wait, go on. Sorry, go on.
So to defend Pachuca, because I know everyone's looking at me like, come on, dude, this is a small team. I agree. But in short season, they've won 7 titles, right? And this is the kicker. This is what puts them in the number 4 and puts like Cruz Azul and Pumas to shame. They've also, in that same time period since moving to short season, have won 5 Conca Champions, right? And a Copa Suramericana, which they're the only team to do that in Liga MX. They were invited as a guest for this CONMEBOL tournament, and we won it. And of course, the almighty crowning jewel, Superliga. So I think because of their domestic and international success, I think they've done more in I guess in the modern time than Pumas or Cruz Azul, and that's why they deserve the 4th spot.
No, I agree on Pachuca. They just don't get the respect because small venue, so they get called Ranchuca. Not enough people to, that not enough people that follow them despite the great success. Similar with Santos, right? They had all this like success.
Yeah.
And
here in the States, they call it like a small market teams.
Yeah, and they didn't, compared to Atlas, they went 70 years without winning anything. And then they win, and it was insane, the celebrating and the coverage. And you could see the difference just based on popularity. But yeah, on success, Pachuca definitely have, they meet that marker. But Jaime, I would put Cruz Azul over Chivas.
Oh my God!
I would.
Who is this?
What the bro? I'm ending the podcast. What is this
right now?
What is this?
Wait, what are you talking about? Porque él entiende the fact
bro,
that
the heel turn right now. What are you?
Espérate, güey. Este es un hombre que sabe leer, sabe la historia, por favor, señores.
Make him an
El que
honorary
sabe,
speaker.
yo estaba algo.
You know, there's honorary presidents that don't do anything, have no say. Make him an honorary
Bro.
Wait,
speaker.
you
Has
can at
no
least
say.
let me finish. Let me finish my take.
Oh my
You guys are
god,
stomping
dude.
me. No, Cruz Azul got a bad rap because of the whole meme, like La Cruz Azul, but they were putting themselves in that position of constantly, they would lose, but they were losing in finals and semifinals. They were make so I mean they were, if you see their numbers, they're one of the more consistent teams. Um, so if we go back, well, how far back do you want to go, Jaime? Like 10 years?
Since
And
moving
then
to
we could.
since moving to short season, which is 1997.
Well, yeah, we could then see. I mean, they did have that long drought, um, so that kind of takes away from them. But they they were first team to reach the Liga finals. Very very good match. Some might even say they were robbed.
Bro, second place
Um,
doesn't get any merit. I'm sorry, dude.
Second place, last place, it's all the same.
Chivas made
Güey,
it
y
to the
saying
ustedes
que
en
final
la
todo
too, and you're gonna
pinche
perdedor
take that.
más
jalando
grande?
de Chivas en la Libertadores y también América de que no llegamos
Bro,
a
no
la
one talks about
final.
second
All you're
place, bro.
making Cruz Azul sound like the biggest loser.
Yeah.
The
You're
big
making a case for them being the biggest loser.
They're the
Not
biggest,
okay,
bigger
because
than Chivas, my
dude.
guy.
Like,
look
¿Sabes
at
qué,
you.
güey? Si soy el biggest loser, no hay pedo. ¿Ustedes qué están haciendo? ¿Llegan
No,
una
that's
vez
fine.
cada
Okay.
10 años?
Well,
we're
let's take a
Here's
step
the
back.
thing:
Let's take a
Chivas
step
miss
back.
Liguillas too
Before we
much to
talk
be
about
put in
who's
that
grande, who's
category.
not, who's more grande than who, let's make a definition for grande. Are we going off titles, actual first place titles, or are we going off some romantic shit like who has a bigger fan base and who
yeah.
the media likes more? Like, what are
Well,
we
So
I don't
going
think that's
off?
romantic.
Titles?
Having fake fan base, I wouldn't say is romantic.
I would say for
Mira,
me,
espérate.
my criteria for like the big four, it has to be a combination of both. You have to have the titles to even be in the conversation.
But one has to be more important than the other. For me,
Obviously,
it's the title.
titles is the number one
So Cruz
factor.
Azul doesn't surpass Chivas in titles whatsoever. So that
Yeah,
conversation's
but we're
over.
going
That
to
conversation is
going,
over.
but we're going to the but this started from comparing the teams from the start of the short season.
Yes, 1997.
And now you're trying to sound like Ricardo, adding championships from the amateur era and
No,
No,
from
since
their
'97,
backyard
who has
matches.
97.
titles? Since
Well, there you
'97, who has
go.
more
And
titles?
I went over the list, right? So Toluca and Pachuca, since moving to short season, have 7. Tigres and Santos have 6. America has 5. Pumas and Rayados have 4. Chivas have 3. León 3. Atlas 2. Cruz Azul 2. And then Necaxa, Morelia, Tijuana, and Atlante have 1.
So even Chivas beats them in that. So that conversation's
Exactly.
over. Like no point.
I
You can't say
understand.
because
Just
they
by
won
one.
20
Like, yeah.
second place
Ok,
medals
ok,
that they're
pero
bigger.
espérate. Entonces, ok, si le estamos dando respeto a la sudamericana y a todo lo demás, ¿verdad? Que en cualquier otro tema le llamaremos trofeos de chocolate, ¿verdad?
Ooh, I don't know about
Entonces,
that.
¿qué, güey? ¿La Superliga? Un
I
pinche
think
trofeo, güey. Súper,
That was a
súper,
joke, my
súper.
guy.
no, no,
That was
no.
No, no,
I
no,
was
por eso, pero
being
también al
yeah.
mismo punto, ¿verdad? Si estamos tomando en cuenta todas esas mamadas, güey, Cruz Azul tiene la Copa MX, tiene un chingo de otras mamadas que también se ha ganado, pero las cosas lo que contamos y lo que cuenta aquí es el título mexicano.
Yup.
¿Verdad? Siempre de Cruz Azul se ha dicho, sí, güey. Ah, pero ganaste la copa. Sí, güey, me vale pinche verga la puta copa. Lo que quiero es el pinche campeonato. ¿Verdad? Pero
Yep.
no. Entonces, esa es la cosa. Sí, güey, Pachuca ha hecho eso, ha hecho aquello. Pues gracias, güey. ¿Verdad? Has llevado al fútbol mexicano a grandes puntos. Pero todavía no tienes los títulos. Ahora, acá Tigres, mi compa, lo ha estado haciendo, también ha llevado el nombre de México muy en alto y ahora está a punto de convertirse en uno de los que puede tener más títulos en el fútbol mexicano. Entonces,
So
ahí está el pedo.
this is my
Look.
argument is like I don't care what list you have. America Chivas have to be in it based on the fan base, and they obviously are 1 and 2 as far as titles in the history of the game, and they have basically less work to like they just have to maintain that status, right? So I think America and Chivas have both done enough to maintain themselves at the top. So those two are like you cannot move
But if
America
we're
and
going from
Chivas.
97, you can't use that.
No,
If we're just
that's what
going
I'm
from
saying.
97,
They
No,
like
but we're
they
not going just from
but
'97. We're going from La Ligas, the ones that are on the badge.
like
no.
any
Jaime said
look.
90 since the start of the
Basically,
Okay,
what
sí,
I'm
sí, no, no,
look,
eso
championship.
look
fue lo que
this
dijo Jaime, pero yo fui el pendejo que dijo todo, ¿verdad? Like, que estamos contando todo.
I look this.
Aquí este güey quiere cambiar todo y quiere quemar el mundo,
I'm
pero
just
también,
saying,
güey,
America
todos
and
somos
Chivas
anarquistas.
are the big. It's like saying Manchester United and Liverpool. They're the biggest teams in EPL. Like America and Chivas are the biggest teams. It doesn't matter. Like those two are you can't move them. The only two spots are third and fourth, and I think those spots again, based on Cruz Azul and Pumas' shortcomings, those are up for grabs. And I think what these other teams have done since the short season, they've earned the right to knock them off their pedestal. I mean, Toluca has more titles than Cruz Azul. Like that is hard facts. So they
Look,
deserve the number 3.
I see that part, but to me with Liga MX, the thing, and I think this is why the league is not rated higher. It's because you don't have to be the best to win. You don't have to be consistently the best team. You just have to. You could go into Liguilla in eighth place.
That's
We
fine.
even saw teams going in at 12th. And then once in Liguilla, we've seen teams like Chivas that won it without even in winning a single
Those
match.
are all the rules that we agree to play by, though. And
I no, I get that, but that's why I'm saying that's why when like at the international stage, the the tournament is not valued more because it's inconsistent in that way. Of like sometimes you just get in a lucky streak and that would be enough for you to win the tournament.
I think in like short history that people have like witnessed this, they will agree. But I think over time, people all they care about are the titles. So I ask you, Joel, what is your top 4 list?
Going from 97,
Just like
overall,
overall,
has to be
man. Like
overall.
who would you put in your top 4?
You can't decline the past before.
Regardless
Before
of what restrictions and rule, like fuck that. Just whatever's in your heart. Name your top 4 teams in Mexico. I just want to know.
it's hard. I would have to like really go over the list because no, because the league has changed a lot.
but the league
Like
will
you guys are
continue to
naming
change.
Chivas, you guys are. I know, but that's why like I don't agree when they say Cinco Grandes and Pumas was there, and they hadn't really done anything for a long time, and they were always being called one of the top four or top five, and that's kind of what you have, even like with Chivas. So I'm trying to look for the list, but it
But
shows how often they miss the league. And that's not the type of like when you think of a big team, they don't do some shit like that. You're not missing 3 to 4 liguillas in a row. Like you don't see Real Madrid doing some bullshit like that. And so I mean that's why when we say grandes, just for the league, we could do one list. But then if like depending the criteria, it's gonna change a lot. Like who you want to have
No, but see,
as a
you're going with a Cruz Azul argument again. If you miss Liguilla 10 years, let's say, but during those 10 years, you're still in second place in titles and nobody else passed you up. That's not your fault.
that's not your problem.
Liverpool won what, one league like since 1993. It's not their fault that they're still in
yeah,
second place.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but for me
by
that would mean that
titles,
you
they're still son un grande. Like you gotta knock them down.
They
You gotta knock them
yeah.
down from titles.
but see even that, it's
No, even that titles determine
Okay, so
when
question.
the rings. When you
So then
win the
what's the
Super
difference
Bowl, they give
between
you a
a
ring,
grande
right?
and an histórico?
Historical. We're not even having that conversation.
No, we're not having that conversation.
I'm just
talking
saying.
Why
grandes
not?
I'm just saying.
They don't
Puta
In,
want
madre,
to have
espérate,
it.
cabrón, espérate. Las
well,
cosas
Because
están
there's
mal, las
I
estamos
haven't
dando a
even
mano.
heard y'all.
there's
All right.
Porque
TV
estamos
stuff and
hablando de
that
épocas.
No,
Pero
let's
espérate,
finish
güey,
the
vamos a
grandes
hablar.
first. If you
I
want
just
to
want
move
to
on.
know.
Look, let's be honest. You guys are talking about like
I'm talking about the modern top four. And
okay, so entonces ahí está
let's
el
hear it.
pedo, ¿verdad?
Let's
Entonces
hear
then
it.
let's wipe off your stars.
Let me just hear you guys' top four. Since Joel doesn't have an answer, I'm gonna go to you, Habibi. What's your top four right now?
Look, before I give you my answer, I will because
You can explain your criteria or whatever. It's fine. I just want to hear some names.
okay,
Mira,
so
güey, no tengo que ver por qué te
there's
gusta la
one
ñonga.
team that should not be on the top four whatsoever, and I hope we have Pumas fans in here because that's your team. And the reason I say is Pumas is if you look at total titles, national, international, Pumas is ranked sixth, seventh. They're ranked below Tigres, León, Toluca, Cruz Azul, Chivas, and America. And if you look at just league titles, Liga MX, same thing. They're also ranked seventh under those teams as well. So Pumas has zero business.
I agree.
They're ranked seven with national international combined. They haven't won the title since what, like
2011.
2008, 2011? They have zero business being up there. The only reason Pumas is called un equipo grande or whatever is because of the university. It's one of the best public universities in the world. So, it has that weight to it. But that's it. If we're speaking soccer
no,
terms,
World Cup too.
Pumas
They were the
has
base for the World Cup in '70 and '86, and so that kind of helped put the national team on the map. So they get a lot of credit for that too.
okay, but
And
I'm not going off base national team, school, or anything. I'm focusing on titles.
Let's hear it.
And if I'm focusing on winners, Pumas does not deserve to be in that conversation whatsoever. My top are definitely America, definitely Chivas, and then I would also put in, I'm gonna go by the titles, and the titles tell me that it's America, Chivas, Cruz Azul, and Toluca. Because even if you combine the national and the international tournaments, Cruz Azul has 24 in third place, and Toluca has 18th in fourth place.
Wow.
Now,
Okay.
Tigres is only two titles behind, combining them all. Tigres needs two more titles to catch up to Toluca in that sense.
Hmm.
So that's why I was saying in the chat, Tigres can be bicampeón. It doesn't matter. They will still be one title behind Toluca. They be tied for Cruz Azul. I don't think they're in that moment of being in the top four yet.
So
But
they're like the New England Patriots.
yeah, they're like sneaking in, man. They're like between like, middle table and like big team. Like they're sneaking in, they could accomplish it within the next 5 years. But I think it's time that we kick Pumas out and we give Toluca the love and respect they deserve
No
because
sirve.
they are el cuarto grande.
Wow. Okay. I like it. Abdias, what's your top four?
Pues miren, chavos, no es para llamarlos nacos ni pendejos, pero déjenme los educo, ¿verdad? Aquí está el pedo. Estamos hablando de la liga. Estamos hablando del trofeo, ¿verdad? No estoy hablando de la Copa MX, no estoy hablando de la Leagues Cups, no estoy hablando de todas esas otras mamadas. Estoy hablando de mi torneo nacional, de mi pinche producto nacional. ¿Sabes qué, güey? Llámame Pemex, ¿ok? Estoy hablando de lo que es mío, lo que es aquí de mi tierra. Entonces, ¿sabes qué? ¿Quiénes son los grandes? ¿Quiénes son los que han ganado más? América, Chivas, Toluca y Cruz Azul. Esos son los
Okay.
cuatro grandes. Ahora, aquí está el pedo. Tigres ha estado poniendo números, ¿verdad? They've been putting in work, they've been grinding, they know how to win ugly. So, Cruz Azul is in danger, ¿verdad? Ganan este bicampeonato, güey, están atados a la novena. Nos ganan otro, están ahí con 10 y ahora están empatados con Toluca. Y luego those two, güey, Toluca y Pumas, I see them investing in the future wisely and I do see them growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of how they're geared towards right now. So those two are going to be fighting it out for a little bit. And if Chivas keeps on sleeping, they're gonna fall behind. America is always pushing it every what 3 to 5 years to rack up another little star up there. So entonces la pregunta es, ¿cómo se sienten ustedes sobre el escudo de los Rayados? Porque
Hmm.
acuérdense, las estrellas internacionales brillan más, por eso son de oro.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rayados has tried to buy their way into becoming a big club. I think they are still falling a bit short, but they have made obviously some massive strides.
Oh, no. Like right now, it's not even that conversation. It's the whole conversation of they put it on their chest those international wins. So therefore, how much value are you giving those over your own domestic product?
I
Like
mean,
that's my
Well,
thing. So
like
how much are
Pachuca
we
did.
giving it, verdad? So, ¿qué onda? Are you getting higher on supply? ¿O qué pedo?
I mean, Pachuca did the same thing. They, you know, it's
Exactly,
it's
and I
it's
don't
it's
fuck with it.
the it's the Napoleon complex there. You know, it's like they don't have the domestic cups, so they try to fluff it up with the CONCACAF Champions League. And hey, look, those you know, regardless of the prestige of the tournament, someone's got to win it. And they won it 3 times in a row, like 3 years in a row, right? And they got third place in the Club World Cup twice. So, you know, they deserve some merit. But, you know, Rayados, I think, is still
Oh,
very.
do they, Mister? No one remembers second place. No one remembers the loser. Entonces, ¿qué pedo, güey?
I mean, there's not too many clubs that have
The
gotten.
losers.
I think Tigres are the only team to get second place, right? In the Club World Cup.
Where? Oh,
They lost to
¿Y
Bayern
qué,
Munich.
güey? So, ¿y qué, güey? Mamársela is on the wrong side of history,
I'm
or
just,
where are
I'm
we
just,
at on
I
that?
look, I'm just throwing out what happened, but
I'm just throwing out the same arguments. It's like, so vamos a mantener la vara igual para todos.
well, I think we should also take into account how the teams do during the regular league. I know
That's
you
not
guys
what
uh,
don't
tournament
want to
set up
count.
for.
You guys don't want to count it, but it talks about consistency and dominance, and it has a
Yeah,
lot.
but your tournament is
You
not set
couldn't
up
just.
that way.
It
Look,
is
no,
because
it's
you
not.
get advantage.
Look, in MLS, the team that wins the most points in the regular season, they get a trophy called a Community Shield
supporter
or
shields.
something, Supporter Shield, something like that.
Yeah,
Well, makes
And
it
that's for
something to get
awards.
rid of it. Campeón de verano,
We
campeón de
don't
invierno.
do that award. If we did that award and we said X team
But
has the
then
most supporter shields in the last 20 years, X team has been the most consistent,
nobody
yes,
cares.
we can throw about that argument, but still, nobody cares because what everyone is playing
everybody
for,
cares. How you can
what
say
the
nobody
media is
Nobody
cares? You
playing
cares,
guys are
bro.
for,
crying if the team's not
nobody cares.
doing well. Oh, that's
Okay,
Who's a?
bullshit. A lot
okay,
of
so
people
let's say
care.
you win 10 tournaments of ending the season in first place, regular season.
Pau
And then
has
you
the
get
team in
into
fourth
liguilla,
place y todos mamándole
and
el
then you
palo
get
and
into
nobody cares.
liguilla, and every single time of the 10, you get knocked out in the first round. At that moment, were you amazing because you finished the regular season in first, or are you shitty because you got knocked out the first round every single time?
No, because it's a whole different tournament. If it was
Yes.
best of
And
six,
what goes on the
I
back?
I get
guarantee you
it.
the teams finishing top third would be the ones winning the
Okay.
most.
I
And what goes
But
on the
it's just
back?
two matches.
What
No, well,
goes on the back?
that's why the league is not going to ever be considered more prestigious because it rewards mediocrity.
No, it's not going to be because they're more
It's never
prestigious
gonna.
because we're
It's
beaners. That's
never
like
why.
gonna
we
be.
get it. We
No,
get
it's
it,
not,
dude.
dude.
We
It's not because you
understand.
could suck. You could be 12th place. You could make it to the
Those are the
liguilla,
rules that
and
we
then
agree to play by, though. So we
I
can't
know,
we
I understand that, but that's why the league
we can't
is always
cry about
gonna
spilled
be.
milk.
I
So,
know, but
what's your
it's
point?
gonna
Are
be
you trying to
considered
reward
subpar.
like a team being grande for being more consistent
Do you
even though they
want
don't
a
have titles?
participation
Yes.
trophy? Is that what it?
No, it's not participation
It is
trophy. It just shows.
participation trophy.
It
At
shows
least
how
you
good you
tried.
really are. No, it shows how good you really are. Like you have, like you
If
guys talking about Chivas, and they've had one campeón de goleo in like 20 years.
no, like, look, dude. If we were to go
And
off
then you
of,
look how many goals they could score, and then you go down the list. They rarely are in the top three of teams scoring the most goals.
But with
So
that,
then
you're getting
when
a
you start
coaching
adding,
informed.
no, because then you're
It's
adding to
easy for you
see,
to attack Chivas for that. But now you
because I'm
actually
a
got to look
Chivas
at
fan. That's the team I
no.
know the
Now I
most.
actually got to look at the actual detail. Go through all the goal scorers of the last 20 years and find out how many have been Mexican.
No, no
So
mames, güey. No, no empieces con ese.
no, I'm saying if you're gonna
¿Verdad?
criticize Chivas for having one goal scorer, okay, how many Mexican goal scorers have the other 17
Well,
teams produced?
even goal
So at
scorer
that point, is
amongst
it a
other
Chivas
Mexicans.
problem or is it a Mexican striker problem?
All I know is if we were to go off of points accumulated instead of the short season, I know someone did the numbers, but I think like Cruz Azul would be like the one that won the most leagues.
Yeah,
Ya
see?
sabes tú.
But
Yeah.
Pero espérate.
But
That's
guess
why I don't
what?
want this argument.
we don't do
like
it that
this.
way, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Ya sé, güey, ya sé, pero espérate,
It
mira,
doesn't.
lo que yo iba a decir, ok, hablando de pinches supporters, güey, por favor, respétate más. Es nuestra liga. Like, you want to dilute it como los gringos.
That's how it is,
Pero,
man. He wants to reward that. He wants to reward finishing first in the season.
por eso le estoy pidiendo que se respete más, ¿verdad? Like, wait,
No,
there's kids that
do
might
think they
listen to
can.
this, ¿verdad? I doubt that there's many people who listen to this, pero si hay niños, por favor, güey. Ahora, aquí está el pedo. Vamos a hablar de otros equipos de una época, ¿verdad? León, ¿verdad? Cuando León estaba acá que le metía la riata a todo mundo, ¿verdad? Hubo un tiempo donde León estaba de la fregada en la Liga Mexicana. ¿Por qué? Porque estaba compitiendo en la Libertadores. ¿Y sabes qué? En la Libertadores con el pinche Guti le estaban metiendo la pipa a medio mundo, ¿verdad? Y luego les dijeron, hey, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué está pasando acá? Y en prensa abierta, y ¿sabes qué, güey? No, mi enfoque es aquella. Y toda la carne se la estoy echando allá. ¿Y sabes qué? Ahí está mi enfoque. Y luego se los tronaron allá, y regresaron a la Liga Mexicana y la ganaron. Like, it depends on where your focus is and how many tournaments you're running at the same time, right? Regularity is very different depending on what is going on
Well,
in the
that's a
background.
good point you're bringing
Right,
up
like
on
what just
regularity.
happened.
Wait, I'll do this really quick because
Yeah,
that's when you have teams like America and Cruz Azul. They were competing in two tournaments and they were maintaining good numbers in both. And you have
exactly.
teams. We saw teams in Liga MX that can't even compete in Liga and Copa MX.
Exactly. Entonces, so like, I understand, y por eso, like, I've said it before, wait, I've said it before, bien pendejo. I've said it before, güey, hasta entre los perros hay razas, ¿verdad? Y ciertos trofeos pesan más y cómo los ganas es mucho más importante. Por eso es algo que siempre me quedo muy impresionado sobre Tigres, es cómo es que puede ganar sus trofeos, que no siempre son la manera más bonita, el tocabús y todo eso de antes y cómo antes eran las cosas y ahora cómo están siendo, pero esa mentalidad todavía se mantiene, es lo que es muy impresionante. Entonces, there's a different fucking level, guys. Like,
So we can
it's
all
not
agree,
the same.
fuck Pumas, they're not a big team.
No,
and
no,
they
güey.
can kick
Ese es
rocks.
el chiqui grande. Ese es el chiqui grande. Like, ¿qué pedo con él?
No,
We
they're
can
not
all
cheeky.
agree, Pumas does
They're
not deserve to be on
grande,
that
they're
list.
Cheeky. Get rid of the grande. That team is below León. That team is below Pachuca. That team
Yeah,
is
dude.
done, cooked. I don't want to hear a
Pumas.
Pumas fan say that they're los cuatro grandes. None, zero.
I agree.
Yo, just really quick sidebar. Have
Mm,
you ever met a Pumas bar? Like a Pumas fan?
yes.
I have.
Yes,
They're
a
like
few.
the cousin of America
We
fans. They
used
look
to have
exactly
one
alike.
on here, man. Cheekies.
Bro, I saw one. I met
She
with
saw
some
one.
clients
saw
today.
one.
I saw, dude. It's the best. I
Maybe
met
it's in
with
a
clients
safari.
today, and I took them.
Oh my god, I
You're
saw a
used to-
Pumas fan the
you're used
other
to Puma
day.
fan.
It was in the wild, and it was the greatest experience ever. So hold on,
Glad you're
let me
safe.
retell you about this story. All right. So what happened was I was entertaining clients. Of course, I was like, "Yo, where are we gonna go?" Of course, we're gonna go get Mexican food because why not? Who doesn't love tacos, right? So therefore, we went out. We were eating, and as I'm opening the door, there's these these essays that are coming out. And obviously, it looks like they've had a couple cervezas at the bar and shit. But I see this one dude in a hoodie. He's like, he looks like chorizo because he's like, it's too small for him and he's busting out from the seams. And it's a Pumas one. And I look at his eyes, bro, and all I see is despair. I'm like, damn, you guys do exist. and you're
No
drinking
sirve
at
para
at noon.
nada.
Neta,
America
way.
fans
I was
steal your
like,
wallet. Pumas fans steal your phone. They're cousins.
it was bad, bro. Like I saw him in Safari,
Oh,
and I was like, "Chinga, I feel bad for you, Wade."
Yeah.
But yeah, those bums are done. Don't want to hear anyone mention Los Cuatro Grandes and mention Pumas' name because it's done. And don't want to hear anyone mention that Cruz Azul is bigger than Chivas either because that's another terrible take.
I know you guys hate the comparison to EPL, but it really is like EPL, right? Ciudad de Mexico is like London, right? So even if you're not historically considered like a big club, you don't have the titles just because of the population. Um, they have like a larger fan base. Like you look at Arsenal, you look at Spurs, you look at Chelsea, right? Not really considered like big clubs. Like they don't really have that many trophies, but because it's London and it's a massive, massive city, like they've sort of gotten their way into that conversation. It's just like a big market, to go after. If there were more teams in La Ciudad de Mexico, I'm sure they would start to say that they're also a big club. It's just that's just what happens when you're in a big market like that.
Yeah, and those bums, that's what I'm saying. It's because of the school. It's all the students they produce, students that graduate from there, many students that become Pumas fans. But even if you look at their attendance, those fools only fill up their stadium when they play America, Chivas, Cruz Azul, Tigres. Like, they have Pumas Mazatlan. That stadium's empty.
Yep.
Like, no one cares about that team. Not even their own students care about it.
That's why Turco left.
Small team, small club. He just wanted to show that he could do it in Liga MX again, remind everyone, and now he's on his way to Monterrey.
Güey, espérate, en cierto punto teníamos otro equipo en la Ciudad de México y nunca fue grande. O no te
two more.
acuerdas.
You're talking
Atlante
about
or
Atlante,
Necaxa?
Necaxa?
Oh
Ahí
yeah.
están,
Hey.
ahí están.
I think Necaxa had a epoca, where they had a really good competitive team.
Well, to me, they played in too big of a stadium. I think they needed to find another area of Mex City. It's big enough, but playing at Azteca under the shadow of both America and Cruz Azul, that was always going to be a tough sell. But I know they were to find their niche. They would eventually have like they could form their own,
I mean,
carve their own space.
that's why they went to Aguascalientes, but that was in my opinion, it was a big
No,
mistake.
yeah, no, I mean within Mexico City, not you
Yeah.
didn't have to go that far.
They could
Go
have went
across
to
town.
Nezahualcóyotl or something.
Yeah, I don't think Mesa has been completely engulfed to be um, considered part of the. Man, I can't find my list. It got
Um,
lost.
yeah, quick shout out to Disco Fever over there on the YouTube comments. It says plot twist: Joel is an American outlaw.
American.
¿Sabes qué, güey? When shit is going bad, he puts on his rally cap and he starts doing that like clap
Rally
and is
cap.
like, we believe that we will win.
FBI needs to look into where Joel was on the January 6th elections. I think he was
Oh,
at
no,
DC.
I
They're
do
gonna be
want
able to
to.
track him down.
I have a couple more comments. This was on Spotify. I put the question, who's winning the league? Ignacio said, I hope America wins it. Y ojalá no se aparezcan los fantasmas como las otras temporadas. And Navarrete said, I'm going for Tigres. And a question for debate. Is Santi Jimenez having a better career than JJ Mack from Chivas?
Easily.
Easily.
No question, güey.
No question.
Pinche JJ Macaroni got folded.
Easy.
Yeah, I know, dude. That guy's like restarting his career, unfortunately. And he did get some minutes in the elimination match against Pumas. So hopefully he's back on the come up, but Chivas definitely needs some refuerzos.
How'd you feel about that, bro?
About
Like
about what?
About JJ Mack being thrown back out there.
I don't think it was the right
Like,
time.
It wasn't like, yo, bro, like you
It
already
shows the
got your shit pushed in,
desperation.
right? But do you like it? As a fan, are you like, I respect that move?
I think it was just
Versus, ¿qué puta estás haciendo?
it was a unnecessary gamble. Like I know that he's been like good for a while, but there's always that slight risk of premature like putting them back into the lineup and then happens again, right? So I'm it's
Bro, if he breaks himself a third time,
that's it,
yeah,
bro.
wait, it's done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, he's had probably been playing interescuadras and playing, enough where Pau was like, even in one leg, he's better than the alternative.
I don't know, dude. There's always that
It's
gamble.
just no, there is, but I mean, if it was already, I'm sure he showed that he could hang during the training sessions.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure they know better than anyone on the outside like how he's actually doing if he's healthy enough in training and all that. But still, man, there's just
You can't compare training with an actual game.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's another level of intensity. Like you have competition amongst your peers on your team, but once you're actually in a knockoff elimination match on the road, like there's just a lot of things that could go wrong. So
Well, it's true, but I mean, you have Pau and you have the Iron Man making that call. So I mean, at this point, are you saying you don't trust those guys?
yeah. Speaking about
I
the
mean,
Iron
I'm sure
Man,
they.
he has stepped down from his I guess advisor role for La Selección, saying that it was a conflict of interest. Funny, he didn't have a
What?
conflict of interest taking those checks until now.
I don't think he was.
You know what? I think I have an idea as to why he did that. If you look at, I know we're going to talk about it, but as far as the list of players that came out,
Mm-hmm.
names like Pio Alvarado, Mosso, stuff like that were not on that list.
Yep.
A lot of fans were questioning why. One of the things, these guys are coming off a season, and two, it's not a fecha FIFA, so clubs are not required to loan those players out. So maybe the clubs want their top guys to get a rest and not risk it. As so at that point, if you're one of those guys for selección, in this case Hierro, your job is to make sure the best of the best are coming, they're available. But you, at the same time, as a club director, you don't want to risk your players. So I see where that conflict of interest would happen. I'm not.
I am so curious as to La Volpe and Hierro and all these guys that were announced as advice. I really want to know what actual influence, what conversations they were having, what meetings they were. I want to know all about that because let's be honest, bro, that was just like a fluffer title. Like I'm sure they're not like, do you really think Jimmy Lozano is taking their advice? Like, fuck no, dude.
But
Bro,
that
La
whole
Volpe is
commission got
gone.
that. Well, but I don't think he was ever even part of it. The whole commission was part of
It was a bunch of
Iraragorri,
bullshit,
or
dude. It
what
The
was
what
commission
was the
was
guy?
No, 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 no.
Yeah,
makeup to make everybody forget
it was
about
a
that.
Eso sí.
crisis. It was a crisis, right? It's like Coca got fired, and then they're like, "Hey, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put Jimmy in because that's what you guys want,
No, no,
and
no,
then we're
no,
also
no,
gonna put
espérate.
all these names: Rafa, La Volpe, Hierro. Yeah. We're doing great. I think that was just like
wasn't that list before? Wasn't that list before Jimmy?
¿Ves?
Like
¿Ves?
before
¿Ves? ¿Ves?
they even appointed
this was
Coca.
after the Coca shit show, dude.
Wait, so
Mira,
a
güey,
second there was a
como decían en mi
second one?
barrio, tell them Habibi. Pero no, no el Habibi que tenemos aquí, porque ese está pendejo. Pero
Because
no.
there was a list before Coca, and then with Amauri and the
No,
one, it
so
was the one
Okay.
do
where the
you remember?
Pachuca
So
guy
we lost
Martinez.
Nations League, okay, right? We lost to the United States. And then that's when that bald-headed
Espérate.
fuck went on video and said,
Hold on, hold
"We're
on.
making changes. We're not going to do." And then that's when they did the whole spiel with like, "We have advisors and all this stuff, and we have Jimmy
I
now." That was after,
Sí,
I don't
dude.
güey.
think
It was after we
I
got
don't
eliminated
remember him.
in the Nations League against US, dude.
So it was
Okay.
a second list because they had one before Coca, which was the whole thing. Shit hit the fan because Martinez goes on fútbol picante and then kind of calls all that a farce. And then when they appointed Coca, like no one really appointed him. It was just Iragori who like just said it's going to be this guy. So which at that point it sort of rendered that whole group useless. Like what are they doing there? They were just co-signing for whatever reason.
Exactamente. ¿Ves? Otra vez, un hombre de cultura y de sabiduría. Bro, that, sorry, that's where shit went wrong, dude. So, all right, let's take a broader look. Porque, once again, the way that we look at things is so fucking short sighted
Uh
that
huh.
we don't keep track of the big picture, right?
There is no big
So,
picture.
yeah, there is a big picture. And you know what's the best thing? It's framed and it reads fucked. So, let's just keep rocking with it, right? Like eventually it will fill in, and at least the frame's there. So here's the problem. Fucking, we gave full autonomy to, um, the red coat. So really the turncoat. Pero ya sabemos. La atata, le dimos full autonomy, le dejamos correr, we let him cook, he fucked that shit up. Then todos estábamos encabronados y que no, que va a ser una reestructura y que quién sabe qué, y adivina qué. El pinche FMF sí, FMF se convirtió Game of Thrones. Y todos se andaban apuñalando en la espalda y se andaban moviendo para arriba y
Yeah,
para abajo. And this
they
and that.
booted Torrado. They booted pretty
Ordiales.
much everyone, with the exception of Yon de Luisa.
Hmm.
But then he ended up stepping down on his own. But I mean, because I guess at that point
But
he
like
wasn't going to be
when
doing
they
much.
when they
Exactamente. Y
announced
luego,
like Hierro and La Volpe Lopez, like I wasn't even consulted. Like this is bullshit. Like it was, dude. Like it was just Liga Meki's in his finest hour, dude. It was a bunch of hogwash.
oh, that's Mexican soccer at its finest right there. Because, yeah, because that, like you were saying, Corey, it is part of the second restructure
Okay.
that happened. And the whole thing was because we were always promised this, even on during the fucking Game of Thrones episodes. It was like, this is what we're working towards. We're all sitting down. Even during that time, we were getting whispers about el comité, right? Like, is it gonna
Okay.
be a bunker? Like, what is this gonna be? Like, there was already that
Wait.
idea that it was gonna happen this
I see
way.
it. Wait, hold on. What's the confusion, or at least for me on my part, because the first committee was sort of like to control the whole structure of the national team from top to bottom, and then it sort of was a kind of like a farce. So when the new president steps in, he sort of dissolved that, but then he does like a second one. I don't know if it ever became official. I don't remember any presentation. It could have happened. I don't know. But this was more of like just for Jimmy, right? This was more of like so that he could have like a squad of advisors so that if he needed to talk to them. So yeah, I do remember that, but I never remember that ever being like all right, this that they did like a conferencia de prensa
They
or that
did.
they showed them they did
They did a
What
with
they're
all
whole.
those
doing
clips,
now,
Hierro and
so
all of this.
yeah,
They
I mean,
did.
I know they announced it as like we want to do this, but
No,
like
they straight up had
these
like
are the
a
dudes.
they had a release and they showed like the video and they did like they put La Volpe in there, they put Hierro in there, they put Rafa in there. They made it sound like yeah,
Wow.
we got our shit in line, we got our shit together, and it's just like,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then La
that was
Volpe is
the
like
okay.
nobody ever consulted me, and but he's like, but
Yeah,
Jimmy
yeah, I
has
remember that one.
Jimmy has my number
Okay,
if he needs anything like
yeah. So unas cuantas cosas sobre eso.
that's so
So
dumb.
a source close, like within the FMF, según habló con unas cuantas gentes, dijeron que they like a direct messaging campaign. So just straight up, just put it out on Twitter and let people see it on their own time and their own terms and digest it as they want versus broadcasting it is the route that they want to go. They feel like that connects with the people more. So that's así es que va a ser, ¿verdad? Ya no vas a ver ruedas de prensa, vas a ver un video directo. Ahora, mucho de lo que hicieron cuando fue ese segundo video donde pusieron todo, it wasn't necessarily like, okay, it was geared towards Jimmy, but it was geared towards Jimmy as the figurehead, right? Meaning, when Jimmy is gone, this foundation is still going to remain, and we're still gonna have these pillars, right?
Uh-huh.
Because they literally fucking called it. It's based on these pillars,
Yeah.
right? And then we're gonna have these pillars that we're gonna surround them around these experts and blah 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 blah,
Yeah, it was
right?
all a bunch of bullshit.
Of course, it's a dude. Have you? You're in sales. What?
And
You've never
everybody
fucking got a
everybody
fluff
ate
before?
that up. They're like, "Mwah, mwah, mwah, yes.
I mean, tú también, ¿no?
The Lambo Jimmy.
No tanto el Lamborghini, pero por lo menos puta madre, algo se está haciendo dentro de la federación.
Yeah.
Pero
So
pues,
Habibi,
pues bueno y
yeah.
pues aquí estamos.
Habibi says he's not surprised that Hierro stepped down, conflict of interest. I was looking at the list that Jimmy put together for this friendly that is not during a FIFA approved window. So it's a bunch of basically, C D guys. Julio Gonzalez, Antonio Rodriguez. Here's my beef with like this list. There's not a lot. I mean, there's some young people on this list, but a lot of these guys are not young. Like Julio's like in his, he was almost over the hill. Antonio's in his 30s. Alexis Peña's like 28. Like some of these guys that they called up, they're just not young, and they completely omitted Mosso from the team and Nene Beltran, which obviously they had their mishaps in that second leg against Pumas, but overall they had really good campaigns. Like Nene was a great player. He was one of our top goal scorers in the season. And in that midfield, I think he deserves to be mentioned or deserves to go to the national team. Meanwhile, you got this rapist, Didier Villalpando, in there, which, why, dude? I just don't get it. Like, this dude's like in his 30s. Like, why is he being called up?
Hey, espérate, ¿cuál rapist, güey? Like, if we're gonna throw allegations, let's throw some facts. A ver qué pedo.
Dude, he got separated from the team. He got his contract canceled when he was at Chivas.
Like, for straight up, like, is that shit on the record?
Yeah, dude.
A la verga.
Yeah,
Pues no, está bien. Se lo ganó. Se lo ganó, no, espérate, güey.
Yeah. You have like Omar Govea. You have some players that I've never even heard of before, like Andres Montaño. Like who? And some of these strikers, Brian Gonzalez, obviously Chino Huerta, Edgar Lopez from Toluca, and Guillermo Martinez at Puebla. So I think Guillermo definitely deserves a call up. But yeah, this list is. I feel bad for anyone going to that game in LA.
So, like, here's my thing, man. Like, I don't think it's so much that I have a problem with the list, or maybe I do have a problem with the list, but it's a fundamental problem as to how I have a problem with the fact that it even exists. Like, bro, we're in the middle of fucking Liga. Like, we are about to get to the final. Do you really think I give a fuck about? Let's be honest, man. It's not even this. I don't even want to call this a fucking molero. This is a cash grab.
Yeah.
Do you think I care about a blatant cash grab in the middle of fucking Liguilla, la final, that I can chill at home and watch and not risk a fucking stabbing? Like, no mames, güey.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's some marketing, Soccer United Marketing. I think that's the name of the company. Like they sell like these friendlies, right? So Mexico agrees to, I don't know, X amount of games per year in the United States. And this is the last one. This is just to get their little paycheck. It's similar when Canelo signed with DAZN. Like he agreed to like 30. I don't know how many fights it was. This is like a ridiculous contract. And they were just throwing tomato cans at him because they're like, shit, he has to fill his contract. So like this same thing with Mexico. Like this, there's nothing to gain from this friendly except for cash. And unfortunately, like the fans are like lining up to get tickets, and it's just one of those things, bro. Like nothing will change because everyone keeps buying this product.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, people are not in it for the product. They're not in it for the talent. They're in it for the vibes. That's all it is.
For the vibes.
I swear to God, man, majority of people that go to Mexico games, like especially these, where it's not a fecha FIFA, it's for the vibes. It's for the pregame, the carnita asada. You see, there's the bandas. They bring their own banda,
Yep.
everything. It's a desmadre. To talk shit in the stands. That's all it is. It's honestly an experience.
It's an
Because it's
experience.
no, it is an experience in the sense that if you take like someone that's a sports fan or not into soccer, you take him to a game. Usually it's like, grab your popcorn, grab your beer, and clap, and
Yeah.
that's it. You go home. Mexico, not Mexico games, Mexicans, man, they know how to throw a good time. And the game is a good time. The game is a good time. You could have
Yeah.
all Liga Expansión players show up, and they're still going to show up and have fun. Like I
Yeah.
think so that's the thing, we say if fans stop buying tickets, maybe the product could get better. Majority of fans in the
How,
US don't
where's
care
the
about the
logic
product.
on that? Where's the logic in that? If
I
you don't
think
go
it's just
see
a
games,
You know what?
the,
Here's
the, the team's gonna get better. Like
it's a simple
ahorita
concept of like
jóvenes les va a crecer el pito. What's gonna happen, dude?
it's supply and
pues
demand,
güey, si lo
right?
sobas a veces,
But the demand is there. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Like
mean, I agree
typically
with how.
yeah, typically when it works in business is like you have a product, you're trying to sell it. When sales are flat, when sales are declining, it's because the demand isn't there. So you would think, in theory, you would take that same concept and put it in the Mexican national team. That hey, like the product is not good. It hasn't been great for a long time. But guess what? The demand is like better than ever. Like they're killing it, you know? So it's like from a business perspective, like whoa, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
all
Well,
right,
they
but
just have added new
hold on,
fans.
espérate. Now, in a business perspective, at what point do you oversaturate the market and dilute your product? Because at this point, you're diluting your product. So where's that trade off?
but how's it diluted? Because national team is not. They don't play
Look
often.
at the
Like
players that we're
some.
getting.
Yeah,
I
dude.
know, but you're
That's
seeing
the
that
whole
as a
They're
conversation right
jaded
now,
as a
right? Like
jaded
you're
fan that's
diluting
been
your
watching for
product.
No,
20
wait,
years.
wait.
Entonces,
There's
¿sabes
players
qué?
that have.
I'll be
There's
willing.
fans that just
Todavía
started
voy,
watching.
pero pago menos.
No, look,
Cóbrame un poquito menos, güey.
the
What's
game
you
is
guys are
Okay.
willing to
diluted,
pay that?
but you need to stop looking at the micro level. You gotta look at it the macro. The game is diluted overall around the world. Like I remember, I don't know if it's because maybe I'm getting older or what,
Yeah,
but
that's it.
I would watch like every like game, not just like Mexico games. I'm telling you, like if Euro qualifiers, whatever, like I would stay up to date.
Yeah,
But now they play so many games and so
Yeah.
many
yeah.
like Nations League and all this BS
It's
that it
fatigue.
is diluted. Like it's too many games, and
Yeah.
it's an actual problem because like the youth, I'm talking like 15 and under,
Pedri.
they don't sit down for no, not even players, but fans. They're not willing to sit down for 2 hours and watch a game.
Hell
Well, some
no.
do, man.
It's
The
just
ones going
no,
to the
no.
games
We're talking
do.
the majority. Of course, some do. There's an exception to every rule, but the majority, they're used to like that instant action. They get
Yeah.
like from TikTok, Instagram, whatever. They
Yep.
can't do like 2 hours. That's why like Pica's League, Kings League. That's why he's picking up so much traction, and he gets like 2 million views per game because it's streamed and there's like
What
quick action.
is
There's like
that
a bunch.
is that like what is it? 7-on-7, 5-on-5? What is it?
I don't know. I think it's like 7-7. La Volpe was actually just announced coach today of one of the teams. Now there's like
Oh.
Kings League America, and La Volpe is like one of the coaches now for one of the teams.
Is he
Hon-
part of Cuervos?
No, no, I think it's an Argentine team. I don't.
Honestly, I love it. Like I love is it like futsal or what is it?
No, it's not futsal. I think it's like 7-on-7. It looks like
Yeah.
regular size goals and stuff.
Bro,
But
dead
that's
ass
my
soccer.
point. Like the game is diluted overall
Mhm.
because there's just way too many games. Way too many games and a lot of games of low quality. Like
All
that's
right.
what Papa Florentino was trying to do with Super League. Let's just
Yeah.
make all the good teams face each other because that's what kids want to watch.
Now here's my counter argument to that. All right, is and I grew up también, verdad? Like very similar. The difference was then to now is that I was unemployed and I had access to Fox Deportes, and that was a game changer. So essentially, when the Mexican League would end, you're already kicking off pre Copa Libertadores qualifiers. So those games are already going. That's why every single time that the final ends, it's like, señores, no hay pedo, give it a little bit y empieza la Copa Libertadores. ¿Verdad? Like that already starts moving, that machine starts rolling, and that's where you go. Entonces, it's just the fact that now se han inventado un chingos de torneitos y la Copa del Bobo y quién sabe qué otras pendejadas hay acá, aquí y allá, de que you have literally saturated the market, thus diluting your product. Versus before, you had La Copa del Rey. Wait, La Copa del Rey antes, it was something that you actually looked forward to and you kept an eye on it and it meant
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah,
And
it's
now,
like the FA
no
Cup.
exactly. Wait, I shit you not. Like, con la pasión de que digo, me vale verga la Copa MX, extraño la Copa MX. Like,
I'd rather have Copa
that comp.
Mekis, yeah, than Leagues Cup.
Dude, why can't we have all of them? Why did we have to sacrifice our internal league and having to balance that? Hey, you know what? Every now and then, suspendo la Copa MX y voy y juego Leagues Cup. No, sí, la Copa MX y sigo mi liga y todo ese pedo sigue. O me lo muevo y como quieran, pero güey, like, my boy, they look how they murdered my boy.
Yeah.
Like, no mames, güey.
I just want to see how like these expansion teams stack up against our first division teams, right? Because I mean they've been cooking in that closed league for a while, and I mean you're hearing like Cancun, you're hearing Atlante. I would just like to see them play the fucking lemmings of Liga MX, the Necaxas, the Mazatlans, the teams that really shouldn't be in the first division anymore.
Exactly.
Querétaro.
But Ariola, they asked them if there would be an expansion, like two more teams, so the league would move to 20. And he said they had no plans of doing
Yeah,
that whatsoever.
it's whack.
And I know we rip on Mazatlan, we rip on Juarez, Querétaro, like, they have no business being in first division. But at the end of the day, man, if you're going to have all these games and all these tournaments, you might as well add the other two teams
Yeah,
and give your chance at having more professional players playing and, the opportunity of finding more players. I mean, you're already having all these damn ass tournaments. Why not have more teams? Make it
yeah.
20.
I don't know why they're not doing 20. Like, I understand that they want, stadium requirements. It has to be X amount of
Ya, ya
capacity.
cambiaron de tema, culeros.
But,
I never got to say my take.
oh, go ahead.
No, just really quick on the whole the looting and whatnot, because you guys talk about the Moleros, but they're actually very beneficial to the national team, especially here in the U.S. Because every time I go to the games, I do see a lot of young kids, a lot of little kids, and like maybe for us that we've been seeing a long time, you're kind of jaded by this point. You don't care too much. You see a game Colombia and you're like, who cares? But there's a lot of fans that they never been to a game or they just got into the sport, and this is like their chance to actually see the selección in person. It's a big reason why, for the most part, they do well in attendance whenever they're playing, and this is their biggest market. So for it to continue, and have fan base, and they have to keep playing as many games as they can. Sucks for Mex because they rarely play games in Mexico, but I mean, I would say it generates enough money that it's kept the Mex very competitive, and a lot of that money has gone into the youth teams, where that's why you see a lot of the success in MX at that level, because and it costs money to have those teams where they have coaches, and they do scouting and whatnot, and if you see the Mex youth teams, they're one of the teams that they play the most tournaments or the most games compared to other youth teams, which is why a lot of times they do very well in these tournaments. They're well. how you say fogueados llegan, they're well prepared by that point, and they'll do really good up to the probably up to like the under 20s. Um, but I never agree with the whole because you're playing moleros, it's affecting the quality of the national team.
Mm.
Like the two have never combined. Like a molero's not going to stop you from producing a talent. It's like it's two different things in my opinion.
My thing is, I believe, and I don't even think it's so much of a believe. It is fucking blatant, just consumer exploitation. So therefore, if you are oversaturating the market with your product, therefore it is getting diluted to a certain degree. Why shouldn't the pricing reflect that as well? Right? Like, if we're really gonna have some purchasing power as a consumer, we should at least ask for
Yeah,
that much.
but see that's the
Bro,
thing.
look at
It's
the
not
state
like
of the
if
economy, man. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
The same thing to go to fast food restaurant as a sit down restaurant. It's like
yeah.
everybody's waxing right now. No
Yep.
one's gonna drop their prices.
Yeah. Why would you? Because I mean, people will still buy those tickets. I know that Ricardo in the chat the other day showed screenshots of the Mexico versus Jamaica game for Copa America next year, and it's like those tickets are like $200-300, dude. It's like what?
Yeah,
Crazy.
that is insane.
I
That
want
is
to clarify
insane.
that was fake news though. That was fake news because the public sell tickets haven't come out. So people that have pre-sale tickets, they're like listing them for a crazy price,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's actually buying them. Once the public sell tickets and the general public has access, we'll see a true market price. But
Still,
I still
man,
think it'll be up there. I mean, it's like nosebleeds, $80, $80 plus the fees. Let's say 100 each. A family of four, four
that's
hundred bucks to go
crazy.
to the game, Mexico, Jamaica. Yeah, it's definitely not easy for most people.
Yep. Yeah, that's ridiculous. For for a if it was a South American team like Uruguay, all right, I get it, but I don't know.
But it is a Copa America game, so that
I went to
there's
go
that.
see Jamaica versus Uruguay at Levi's for the Copa America in 2017. I paid like $10, dude. Like nobody was going to that game. Um
$10 like from a scalper or
no, just like off of like yeah, I think like
oh
Ticketmaster or some shit. Like it was super cheap.
damn.
Yeah. Um
$10 is a free hot dog.
Disco Fever said, remember, you all wanted Jimmy Lozano over Marcelo Bielsa. When Uruguay wins Copa America, you'll see that the passport is irrelevant.
But I don't think not that many people were for Jimmy. I know there was a big, but I don't think it ever came down to him versus Bielsa. I don't think that. I don't
It
think.
didn't. The whole Bielsa
Yeah.
thing was a power move. It came down to who stayed in power, right?
Well,
And once again, Game of Thrones happened when it happened, and Bielsa got snatched up.
Hmm.
well, yeah,
So
that.
that's that's the reality. That's literally what happened, güey. Like
But those all those
Bielsa
people.
was on the table, pero estaba atado al güey que venía de Televisa. I can't remember the name right now, but that was the package deal, right? Like it was tied. Pero pasó lo que pasó y terminó Ibaragorri, que no, puta madre, güey, hace poco lo sabía, pero no me lo sé ahorita. Ese güey quedó y puso a Coca. Entonces ahí fue donde se desborró con aquel, pues sabes qué,
Was
Bielsa, ya
it
estás,
supposedly
adiós, y se
supposedly it
fue.
was Martinez that had
They had
Bielsa
him in
on the
hand.
table. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Televisa guy was Yon de Luisa, but I don't think
No,
he was
no,
gonna stay.
it was somebody else who was up for presidency, pero they said it like he was tied, like that's what was the package
But
deal.
even well, yeah, but even bringing Bielsa is like for some reason like he's not like they feel that probably he wouldn't it wouldn't be a good match. Just the way the FMF is and the way Bielsa can be.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that We have that
Yeah,
friendly on the
well,
16th, and we're bringing like not even our B side, dude. It's like, yeah, I feel bad for anyone that's going to that game.
I mean, now here's the
Oh, no,
question,
don't feel
right?
too bad, Jaime.
Well, I do because they can't take their kids, man. Like, hay pendejos allá con
Oh,
una
for
navaja.
the
Like,
prices or for the because of the players?
Well,
oh no, I'm talking about the violence in the stadium.
It's a
I think a lot of people like don't know. Like, you get a lot of casual fans that just see, oh, Mexico,
yes,
Mexico, Colombia, and they have
yeah,
no idea that like who's gonna go to the game. And
yeah.
and they're like,
That's
oh, we
true.
want Ochoa, we want, and they're like, who the like? I think the player that's gonna get the most shout out is Chino.
Oh,
But they did do
definitely.
that. They did that once. I remember it was a Molero game, but the ad boards had like Chicharo. They had a
And
bunch of players that weren't even
Chucky and a
called
bunch
up.
of yeah, I remember that, and it wasn't too long ago either.
But I would say
Um,
the average Mex fan is well informed. But I think it's a lot of times you just like Habibi said, it's the party vibes, is the ambiente, is having that atmosphere that a lot of people like. That our Mexicans probably reminds them of back home. It's their like they probably don't follow other sports,
Yeah.
and this is where they get to do the tailgate, and it's like a whole event for them. So that's part of the, you know, I think that's part of the experience.
and so here's my thing, and the one question that I have regarding all of this. So let's say, and because me gusta ser ojete, let's say Mexico is to lose, right? Are we going to be having a podcast here talking about
Yes.
Jimmy se tiene que ir?
No,
¿Qué
no,
putas
tampoco.
es esto? ¿Qué está pasando? Ay,
Habibi
güey,
sabe, bro.
nos está cayendo el cielo. Like, am I gonna like
It,
be like making dinner and
it
No,
get
depends.
notification and be like, neta, güey, pendejadas así
that,
hoy?
It
that's part
depends
of the
what's
podcast charm, though.
it depends on how the media is prepped
Okay.
for that, because like it's all in the media's hands, right? They can get the narrative going.
No, I think he means us right here at the podcast.
I know,
Yeah,
but
literally us.
oh, us.
Like, us as
Yeah, no,
individuals, because
no.
that's what happened last
I don't
That's
time.
the
And
even
it was like,
thing.
look. I don't
wait,
even
no
think I'm gonna watch that
mames.
game.
Wait, is it about the friendly coming up if Jimmy loses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean if I was no, because I mean it's the players. I mean the players are being called up. It's not even nowhere near being like the A team.
Okay, so I'm just saying, bro, I better not look down and see a notification porque si no voy a venir
Actually,
les voy a partir
no.
la madre.
We need to get more listeners, so I'm gonna be like, the
We need
world
to
is
get more
ending.
listeners.
Yeah, that
Porque
works.
neta, güey,
That
es un
definitely
pinche
works.
bolero. Like, es uno de esos de que, okay, sí, we
I'm gonna
can do it, we can talk about it, we
if
can digest
Colombia
it.
if
Pero
Colombia and
nothing's really at stake here.
all right, if like say Colombia scores like 5 or 6 goals, I will put fuera Jimmy hashtag. I will
¿Sabes
do it,
qué,
dude.
güey? If they do that, it is gonna
Nah.
hurt. Pero también,
Same
güey,
thing.
like,
Like Mexico wins 5 or 6, it doesn't matter because it's not even your main players. So it's not
and
a
that's the thing. It's
reflection of the
very,
process.
and we've talked about this. This is a damn if you do, damn if you don't, right? Like, si les metes la verga, sí, güey, es porque estaba fea. Y si te mete la verga, I told you she had an Adam's apple.
Hey, well, we've gone an hour without talking about the final America Tigres. I know that was a prediction that many of you guys had. I think Habibi had that prediction, like right on the money. Is America getting their another trophy and building that gap between them and Chivas, or is Tigres going for the bicampeonato?
America is getting that title. If you're not looking forward to it, just accept it. That way, when that ref blows the final whistle on that on the second leg, and all the Americanistas are going crazy, and their owner's taking his shirt off, and Ricardo is like shooting his gun into the air, like you've already come to terms with it. It's not surprising.
And
Worst
Ricardo's
case scenario,
You're not concerned.
Tigres wins it, and you're like hugely relieved, but America's winning it. It's a
So
wrap.
the that second leg against San Luis, it didn't bother you that they lost 2-0?
It didn't bother me because from the result that you came with, you knew that San Luis had to score what 6 goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew like the gas, the foot is not on the gas mentally. Nah, the That's it. The players were checked out. They knew there was no way they could play terrible and some of these ain't scoring 6 goals.
Okay.
So no, it doesn't bother me.
Diaz, who do you have?
Yo, güey, no, pues no hay pedo, soy del puro norte, Reynosa, Tamaulipas, señor. No es la capital del mundo, so ya sabes, los Tigres. Plus, güey, how the fuck am I gonna cheer for America? Like, that's like, neta, güey, respétate, you're cheering all
No,
year
not
for
cheering for
America,
America. There's a difference.
being
Just
like, no,
accepting that they're
no,
gonna
güey, ¿sabes
win.
qué?
I'm
They're
not
gonna
saying I'm gonna
lap
watch the
us.
game and celebrate Henry Martin scoring a goal. I'm saying they're gonna
No, que
win.
no. ¿Sabes qué, güey? Como dijo el otro vato, like, you're gonna be drunk at the bar, vas a decir, Henry, mételo un hijo a mi vieja, yo lo soporto.
Nah, nah, fuck
Like,
that
that
shit.
type of shit.
They're gonna win,
¿Verdad?
man. They're gonna win.
I don't think so. No, no creo. ¿Sabes qué, güey? And here's the beautiful thing. It's not just that. Is that now it's gonna be a bicampeonato.
Yep.
They're gonna be considered one of the grandes in this whole conversation that we've had. Y va a venir el carnal, el que se oye como que sí es francés, pero es de África. Y otra vez va a decir, Abdías, eres el mero verga y eres el único que sabe de fútbol aquí entre esos pinches nacos. Entonces, gracias. ¿Verdad? Ese tipo de cosas. Pero no hay pedo, ¿verdad? Ahora, la cosa es, ¿qué pedo con si ha habido dos bicampeones? Entonces, en los últimos 4 torneos solamente ha habido 2 campeones. So, ¿qué pedo con el torneo corto? Todavía es algo que necesitamos, porque antes era por la emoción, ¿verdad? Cómo es que se podían mover las cosas y todo eso, pero ¿qué tanta emoción si mejor se premia la relevancia? Y ahora, no he hecho los números, ¿verdad? Nomás aquí me la estoy jalando. Pero si vemos los puntos por la temporada, por el año de los dos equipos, ¿cuál es el promedio? ¿Verdad? Entonces, esa
I'm
sería
going
la
for
cosa.
Tigres. I'm going for the bicampeonato. It'd make me feel a little bit better that the team that beat Chivas stayed consistent for another season and beat America. So I have to go for them.
So are you down for hearing we beat America, we beat Tigres, we beat the two biggest team in the country. We
Chivas.
are now the biggest team. No one is above us. We are the kings of Nuevo León. We are the kings of Mexico. Are you ready for all that?
It doesn't bother me because it's not true. And if that's what they need to, validate themselves, then that's I'm all for it. I
Mira, this is what I'm willing to say. Y voy a decir primero, antes que nada, yes. Pero, ahora, si Tigres gana este campeonato y otra vez la cosa es, le ganamos a los dos grandes, le ganamos a Chivas y le ganamos a América en el mismo año que salimos bicampeón, Nuevo León pide la independización. Dicen, ¿sabes qué? Somos independiente a México, que chinguen su madre. Porque ahorita la mentalidad ya es el norte contra todo el mundo. Entonces, esa es mi prediction, and put it down right now. Like, if like Tigres wins, Nuevo León files for independence from Mexico. They're gonna
That's
do that
fine. They
like
already think they're
Catalunya
like
type shit.
they already claim they're from Europe and shit. Like, look, dude,
I
whatever
mean,
they
bro, they have SpaceX. Like, they themselves are
Oh,
already
that's
doing better
true.
than Mexico.
Dude, like I said, man, whatever helps them sleep at night, whatever validation they need, it doesn't bother me.
Wait, that's what you say, but like, at the end of the night, Freddy Krueger's coming for you, and it's Tigres.
No, honestly, I have no bad feelings towards Tigres. I think they're managing everything well. They're doing what a big money team should do.
Yep.
For example, we were talking about EPL. Manchester United has spent $1 billion. Man City has spent $1 billion. But look at the difference in results. One has done it well, one has not. So, gotta give Tigres their props for doing it. If anything, it raises the standard for other teams. Because if you don't want to let them run away with the league, everybody else has stepped their game
Yep.
up. It makes the
Exactly.
league better. So I'm all for it. But let's not pretend like Tigres is like that dominant because they beat Chivas, but before that they hadn't been a champion and they had not been champions in 4 years. So that's 8 seasons. So, they're winning consistently. Right now, they're at the helm of a bicampeonato, but they're still, what, at 8 titles?
They'll be at 8 if they win this one.
No, they're at 8 right now, no? And if they win this one, they move it to 9 in Tigres Azul.
They have
They
8?
yes, they
Yes,
have
they have
8.
8.
Oh shit, man.
So if anyone should be worried, it's Cruz Azul, because at that moment, Tigres can start making an argument that Cruz Azul and Pumas out, and it's them, Toluca, America, and Chivas.
Mhm.
Por
But
eso,
I have
güey,
no
like
problem with Tigres winning. If anything, it's good for the league. It makes everybody else improve. And if not, let them run with it. I mean, that's the whole point of competition, right? Using whoever does the resources to their best. But one thing Diaz was trying to touch on was the bicampeonato. I know it's never gonna happen in Mexico, but I think that they should keep Liguilla, but they should make it a long format. They should make it like a long season. Whether it runs from January to December or it runs from August to May, I don't care. But I think it should be like a full season and then do a Liguilla as well. Because the championships are diluted. Like, can you name the last 8 champions?
So now you agree with me.
I don't
Like
know. This does not favor Chivas, so I'm against any of what you've.
you're against the Liguilla, along Liguilla
No,
with a long
look.
format.
If we if for some reason Liga MX ever decides to go and reward the team that was the most consistent in regular season
No, I'm not
format,
saying that. Like,
Chivas
look
will
at
never win
MLS.
another title. I'm telling
No,
you.
look at MLS. But I'm not saying that. Look at MLS. MLS plays like
Sí, güey,
34 games in a
escúchamales.
season, but they also have their Liguilla. They still have the playoffs. Like, I think out of the 28 teams, like 18 get in or something like that.
Um, mm, look, dude. All I'm telling you is, if we ever decide to give someone a trophy based on regular season results, Chivas will never win another championship.
I'm not saying that. What part you don't understand? I'm saying we should switch to a
I'm
long
happy with the current
season.
format.
No, I
A ver,
say
espérate.
long season with Liguilla. You can keep a Liguilla of 10 teams get in, whatever. But long season, so there's actually one champion every year to stop diluting the championship.
Chavos, ¿no se acuerdan de la jalada que nos habían dicho de que según, ok, íbamos a mantener apertura y clausura, pero luego íbamos a tomar a el primero y tercero de cada liguilla y ellos se iban a competir entre ellos otra liguilla para ver quién sale campeón? ¿O no se acuerdan de eso?
Like campeón de campeones?
Kind of like Campeón de Campeones, but Campeón de Campeones is just a shootout between the champions, the top two, right?
Uh-huh.
Like the winners. This time they were gonna expand it and supposedly try to make it bigger. Fue una jalada que prometió Miquel Arriola que todos estaban hablando de que, espérate, so we can have our cake and eat it too. We talked about it on the pod, right? And how I agreed with it back then, and then it kind of seems like, okay, why not agree with it now, right? We were trying to flood the market with games and kind of do all of this. Then let's expand a liguilla and have a second liguilla. Okay, who were los primeros tres lugares contra los tres lugares acá? Órale, pártense la madre. Here, dance for nickels.
Why change something that's not broken?
Why not innovate?
That's not
Why
innovating.
challenge Why not challenge the status quo, especially when the status quo is
Nah,
that for the past, espérate, güey,
But you think
that
the
for the
current
past year
format's
you
not
had
broken?
bicampeón.
I like
If
the
we have
format.
Pumas bicampeón, León bicampeón, Atlas bicampeón, Tigres bicampeón, we start seeing like all these being campeones, which sounds amazing, but in reality, you're doing what the rest of the world is doing. You're just being consistent for a year. Why not switch for
Exactly,
a year?
exactly. Because
Because
at this
we
point
act like,
we're hyping
Atlas was
mediocrity.
so amazing because they were bicampeones. You're consistent for 12 months. And then what happened after their bicampeonato? They completely fell off. Same thing with Tigres, if they're bicampeones, like, oh my goodness, they're so amazing. You were consistent for 12 months. Every
Because they saw the team.
But that's what everyone else in the world does. They're consistent for 12 months and they're champions. So that's what I'm saying. We should do like a 9 month season
No.
and you still keep your liguilla. You still keep your liguilla with your 8, 10, 12 teams. That doesn't change. But instead of having two championships, you just have instead of having 17 jornadas, you have 34 jornadas, and then the top eight get into the playoffs. But you stop diluting the championship where every 6 months you have a different champ. Because no one can name you the last eight champions.
It's
Like
fine, dude.
95% of people can't. Because it's diluted. It's
Who
so
cares?
diluted. What do you mean who cares? That's the whole point.
Habibi cares.
Dude, we haven't had like the Liga MX trophies haven't had prestige ever since we moved to short season. So it doesn't matter, bro. This is the new wave. You just win. You just keep getting stickers every 6 months. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think that's whack. I think it's mediocre.
Okay, you know what? You're right. There's nothing wrong with that. But then how do you feel about double dipping then?
What do you mean double dipping?
I mean, you get 2 stickers per year. Isn't that kind of cheating? Like, yo, you rigged the game so everybody can get a sticker at least
If you're
once,
as good as you
right?
say you are, you win both. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Then what's the point of having 2 go-arounds?
To keep it interesting, to keep it spicy, to keep it entertaining.
I think the thing is that we are rewarding mediocrity here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been mediocre for the last 30 years, dude.
Oh, you're talking about your own team. I get it. Yes. I'm sorry, Chivas. Like,
It's been
the
more
pain
than
is
that.
deep, and I get it. You went even deeper. Pues muchas gracias.
I just think like, look, this isn't gonna change because it generates a lot of money and it generates a lot of excitement, and I don't think that's gonna change, dude. Like, this is a format that benefits everybody.
Exactly. So therefore, why not refine it? Like, let's be honest. Todos estábamos aquí mamándosela al plane. No sé dónde volamos, pero, güey, me encantó el pinche plane. So, estuvo chingón, ¿verdad? So, ¿por qué no, otra vez, crecer, expander y hacer un poco mejor? Tomar tus 3 lugares, ¿verdad? Oro, plata y bronce contra mis 3 de acá y a ver qué pedo, ¿verdad? Gallo por gallo. Y así los puedes hacer a muerte súbita y pum, pum, pum.
Yeah. Joel, you never gave us your prediction on Tigres America. Who wins?
Oh, he's too pussy to it. Oh, I thought you were going to say about the top 5, like his power ranking. Tampoco nunca nos dijo.
Oh, okay, the top five is too controversial. And
No mames, güey.
I
Mira,
just
nadie
know
nos escucha.
Chivas is
Nadie
not
nos
in there.
escucha,
My
güey.
God,
Le
you said
dije a mi
Cruz
Sánchez
That's
Azul
what
que
you
dijera.
think.
Chivas.
That's what you
You're
think.
worried about controversy?
No, I'm just saying
It doesn't get
I
more
need to sit
controversial
on
than
it, and
that.
I need to read the tea leaves and do all that stuff.
Me too. No mames, güey.
What are you
Como
talking
dije,
about?
he's too
Right
pussy
now,
to tell us.
¿qué te dicen los
Está
huevos?
bien,
Like,
güey.
te hinchan los huevos. These are your top 4, and that's it.
No, it's just.
Because
Güey,
at the end
estoy
of the day,
seguro que tratas a tu
we're
esposa
all,
I
bien
gotta
también,
go over.
regardless of
I
what
¿verdad?
you
gotta
say,
go
we're
over
going to
the stuff
disagree.
because I don't want to go on feels. I want to go on the hard facts and
Wow.
numbers. And I know
Okay,
you guys
so,
don't agree on the regular season, but to
okay,
me
so
it
give me
makes
a yes
a
or
lot of
no.
sense because no, I'm gonna give you like an example
No,
when
give me a yes or
one
no to my question. Modern top 4, America, Chivas, Toluca, Cruz Azul.
no
You agree? No.
no
Okay,
you put
out of
Chivas
those
there.
4, you're saying Chivas does not belong.
No,
And those, so
Wow.
you
they
will keep
don't.
Toluca, Cruz Azul, and America, but not Chivas.
I gotta. No, I didn't say Toluca.
All right,
I
Joel.
gotta see the numbers because see this is where we all
All
disagree.
right,
Because
Joel.
you guys don't.
Since we're all prying for answers here, we all disagree in the parameters and things like that. Would
Yeah.
you say that a when we switched over to a short season format, we should have wiped the slate and started over?
No.
Wipe the
No.
slate?
No.
What do you mean wipe the
No.
slate?
You don't have to.
You know what the fuck I
Just
mean?
get
Wipe
rid
the
of.
slate. Like,
That's the
yo,
dumbest
we
thing
all
I've ever
start
heard.
No.
clean
Place
again.
Cruz Azul above Chivas. Sorry, it's the
No.
second
But I
dumbest thing I
mean.
heard today.
No, it
But I
doesn't.
mean.
That that puts Chivas over Cruz Azul by just one championship,
But no, you guys, I don't
¿verdad?
know
But it
what's
puts
up with.
everybody else up there. Pero espérate, la otra cosa que le iba a preguntar a Joel, güey, estoy dispuesto a decir que tú tratas a tu esposa con amor y respeto, ¿verdad, güey? Esa es la diferencia entre nosotros
Yes,
y tú
that
que
is
no estés
true.
dispuesto a dar una respuesta ahorita.
Well,
Like que se te
no, because
hinchen los huevos, güey, y habla con la voz fuerte y dinos qué está
I don't,
pasando.
I don't have the numbers. That's why. But
Ah.
see, that's the other thing where because yeah, I do value like like the regular season
Damn, bro, I wish you were gonna say
and
my
amount
wife.
of wins. See, so that to me counts a lot. Like how many wins do you have throughout the season, and like let's say in a 5 year span, which team has been the most dominant? Because again, with Liga MX, you could win the title and you don't have to be dominant. You just have to win like two or three key games, and that did it. And so, and I'm not taking credit from that to say because Jaime says that's how it is, and yeah, I agree, that's how it is. But if I'm doing my list, um, I want teams that are day in day out racking up numbers because to me they're the ones that are making the league more competitive, not the other dudes that are like saying, okay, I could get away with doing this. I just need to, you know, slide in eighth place or 11th, and then I could play a certain way and I'm a win.
That's
I,
baloney.
I, so I've said it. No, because teams have become successful like that. When you
No, it's
see Grupo
baloney. I
Pachuca,
mean, so we're gonna
Santos,
keep bringing up
they figured
EPL.
it out. Well, I'm not
Tottenham
bringing up
Spurs.
EPL. I'm talking about Liguilla.
Tottenham Spurs is consistently in the top six, always. Like consistently generating
Oh
points,
yeah.
consistently quote unquote making it competitive, but they have zero trophies. So what? You're an equipo grande because you make it competitive and you
Hmm.
consistently finish in the top four, but have no silverware to show for it.
No, but we,
Yeah.
we
That's
talked about
baloney. They're
having
not a
to.
top
We
team.
talked
They're not
about
a big
having
team.
silverware. I never said you didn't need to have silverware. Of course, having silverware counts. But that's where we will defer, me and you, because you'll be
Not
like,
only does it
"Oh,
count, it's the
Chivas has
most
12
important
seasons."
thing.
I mean, so they have 13 campeonatos, whatever, and so that's why they're la grande. And to me, like, well, you
It's
could
the
have
most
13, but
important
you've been
thing.
asked for 20 years, while like a team like Pachuca might
Your
have
man
7.
Vuse, your favorite coach Vuse. Why is he called Rey Midas? Because he had teams consistently in the top of the regular season, or because he conquered titles? No, he's called Rey Midas because he
Yeah, but
won
see, you're
titles.
ignoring you're
That's what people
ignoring where I
value
said
the
that
most.
having the championships also counts,
If I
but I'm
bring in a
valuing both.
coach and he keeps me in the top three for
I
the
don't know
next
what you're
10 years, but
arguing,
I win
dude.
zero titles, I don't want that. I want
Yeah, but
titles.
who said teams that haven't won? I didn't say a team that doesn't have titles.
But
Of course, you have to
it's
have
not the
titles.
importance that you're giving it. It's like you said, Cruz Azul should be above Chivas because Cruz Azul has 8 subcampeonatos in the last 20 years.
Mira, güey,
Who
espérate,
cares?
espérate.
And
Cruz
they also
Azul
have
siempre
campeonatos.
está arriba de Chivas, güey, que no se te olvide eso.
Eight
Nunca en tu vida te
subcampeonatos.
And
confundas
what
dónde
in
estás
what
y Cruz Azul
delusional
siempre está
planet do you
arriba.
live on, dude?
No, güey, en la realidad del mundo. Tú no sé
Both of
dónde
you guys, man.
estás,
Oh.
You guys,
pero
both of you guys
nomás
need to
quiero que
get
Look,
in your
sepan,
man.
pants and
¿verdad?
go
Como
skipping
dije,
down
hasta,
Yellow
hasta
Brick
entre
Road and
los
go see the
perros hay
Wizard of Oz.
razas.
Bro, I don't
Y quiero que
Look,
know.
man.
sepan dónde están.
You
Did
guys
y'all
don't like to hear this, but a lot of the Chihuahua campeonatos came when the Liga was basically semi-pro.
Como
At the
dije,
end of
güey,
the
el otro
day,
día,
they won it.
¿verdad?
At the end
Ganaron
of the day,
campeonatos
they
antes
won
de
it.
la guerra revolucionaria y se creen bien vergas,
At the end of the day, they
¿verdad?
won it.
Pero
No one
no,
else
pues,
did. And
And
since
a
then,
bunch of the
no one
teams
has
that are
taken
there
that
now
trophy.
didn't even exist.
güey,
So I'm
no
not taking
mames.
credit from that. But to be using that, like if you're still using that, that's like a crutch. If you see the reality of the team from the last 20, 30 years, it's not very good. I couldn't find my
Okay.
list. I'm gonna keep
Okay.
looking for it, but a grande team shouldn't be missing 4 straight liguillas. And it's not like they did it once. They
so
did it a bunch of times where they missed two, three, two.
Okay. And
And
if
so
okay,
what
so
the
that's
fuck?
according
your
to your
let's go
criteria,
with your point.
no one fits the bill. So no one's a equipo grande.
No, what other what of the considered grandes are missing up to 3 liguillas in a row?
So
Do you
like,
see
Uno
America?
papá,
Do you
y
see
I
por
Cruz
just
eso,
want-
Azul
y por eso
missing
soy
that
más
many
que
liguillas?
I
Chivas
just want to
y
see 4
todos los
teams.
demás.
I just want to see 4
And
teams.
dude, in a liguilla where it's 8 teams, you're gonna miss 3 to 4 straight
Okay.
playoffs.
Chivas,
That means you weren't able to be in the top 8. So
So
you couldn't be top 8 in like 2-3 years in a row.
Okay.
And I have to
Ándale,
consider you
you're
a
right.
ándale,
grande
que
Right.
se te hinchen
because
los
it's
huevos,
something
güey.
that happened
Chivas is terrible.
50 years ago,
Chivas is
dude.
bums. But since
They're
Chivas is
not
so
bums,
terrible,
dude.
why has no one else surpassed them? What is
Again,
so? If
because
Chivas is so mediocre y no son grandes, how come there's only one team above them? If Chivas only
a
wins
lot
the
of these teams
title,
just came
if
into the
Chivas
picture,
only wins
dude.
the title every 10 years and has only won like 3 titles in the last 30 years, how come no one else except America is above them? So that tells me the whole league is mediocre. So if
yep,
you're gonna hate on Chivas for being mediocre, then you might as well hate on everybody else for
everybody.
not being able to surpass
No
them.
one, no one fits your criteria, Joel. Like,
You
No,
Espérate, güey, espérate, ¿qué
like
chingas
if
estás
Chivas
hablando?
had
Háblate
six,
tú
like if
mismo,
Chivas
güey,
had 12
señor, como yo
titles
dije.
and
Cruz
America had
Azul
20, Cruz Azul
siempre
had
es más grande que
18.
ustedes, ¿ok? ¿Cuántas veces hemos estado en liguilla? De hecho, que siempre estamos en liguilla, casi siempre.
Yes, and
¿Cuántos
you win 4-0 the first
subcampeonatos?
game, and the second game you lose 4-0.
Y me vale verga, ¿verdad?
And
Pero
that's
ahí
what makes you
está.
grande.
Si estamos
Que la
dando
cruzada.
pinches estrellas de participation, aquí está,
Joel
¿verdad?
is the only ones who give.
Ahora, pero
I never heard no
pero
one
espérate
else
también, güey,
value
tú
that.
acá también estás contando los del año del queso. No mames.
It
¿Fueron
doesn't
desde hace
matter.
cuándo?
That's the stupidest argument I ever heard. Because that's like saying all the titles Tigres has won in the last 10 years, we're praising them now. And then 40 years from now, someone's going to say, oh, those titles were stupid. Tigres won them in, the era before 10G internet or whatever. You
And they
gotta,
will.
you gotta
no,
respect
no
the
mames,
past.
tampoco.
And they
You
will. Y
gotta
van a decir,
respect the
¿sabes qué,
past,
güey?
man. At the
Ju-
in the moment in the past, they were the best of their competition. So how
No,
come
because
¿Y
you
sabes
there's
wait
qué, güey?
there's
Van
a
a
Tigres
decir,
clear
sí, ¿sabes
no,
and
qué,
but
güey?
Chivas
Fue
there's a
antes de
clear
que
in the
fueran
difference,
last
full
dude.
10 years?
cyberpunk. La liga
No,
no
Can
es lo
someone
que es
came
antes.
down
look,
40 years from now and try to,
no, there's
value
not
that?
gonna be a change that drastic, big, like before, like in the 50s, 60s, probably even going into the
What are you
70s. Just
talking about? There won't be a
you could
change
go to
that
YouTube.
big. The
Well, let
game
me
has
finish,
completely
dude.
changed from the 1990s
You,
till now.
I haven't finished my point, and you're already countering it. So how am I going to argue my point? Like you already know what I'm going to say. It's not, dude. Come on, the game's not going to change. It it was like if you look at the players and you could look at them on YouTube, like they weren't even that athletic. You could even see stories of Chiva players, their own Chiva players. They will be at a bar taking shots before a match.
yeah, but
And that's from their own mouth.
that's like saying Pele isn't one of the greatest like footballers just because like it was,
No, he is, but still, if you compare even the even the physicality and how fast it's changed in the modern times, it's become more
But you
competitive.
still
It's
respect the
way more
past because you
competitive.
build from
You
upon the
do
past.
respect it, but I'm saying
No,
that's the
but
difference now.
nothing. You respect it.
It's become
That's like saying the Wright brothers, the guys who created the plane, were stupid because they could only fly for 20
but
minutes.
nobody said
The guys
stupid.
who
Nobody
create
said
planes
stupid.
now, they're
Who
the
said
real
stupid,
badasses.
man?
Ok,
No,
espérate,
you
mira.
gotta respect the
I'm
past.
just saying it's more
You
difficult
build
Okay.
now
on
than it
top
was
of the
back
past,
then. That's
Mira,
the thing.
ahí
It's
es,
more difficult now than back
and
then.
it's gonna be more
That's the
difficult in
thing.
the future.
I don't know. Well, that's harder to predict. Like how is it going to
What are
be
you?
more difficult?
Everything gets more difficult. The bar
Well,
keeps getting higher and higher, just
I
like
don't know about
technology.
that.
Technology keeps
I don't.
improving. People
Well, that's
keep
technology,
improving.
but you're talking about sports,
Athletes keep improving. Usain Bolt will smoke someone from
dude.
drugs.
100
Unless you
years
have
ago,
robots, unless you
and
have
Usain
androids.
Bolt will probably get smoked by someone 50 years from now.
mira,
Humans
yo
just
no,
keep getting better.
mira, yo nomás tengo una pregunta, ¿verdad? Ok, cuando estás en el súper, ¿verdad? Y vas, y estás ahí en tu carrito y vas, y luego vas bajo una hilera, ¿verdad? Y hay un viejito ahí, y estás ahí, chingada madre, ok. Estás atrás de él y esperando, y ahí va el pinche viejito, despacio, despacio. Te encabronas, pasas y dices, chinga tu madre, pinche viejo, tengo cosas que hacer, ¿verdad? Y tú, te quedas atrás de él y le respetas la historia y le dices, no, pues ahí estás, güey, haz lo que tengas que hacer. No, güey, tú ya viviste tu vida, esto fue de antes, the world is for the living. Fuck you, let's go. Like, no mames, güey. Like, ganaste esos campeonatos del año del queso, ahorita estamos ganando. ¿Y
You're
sabes qué,
proving my
güey?
point, my
Espérate,
guy.
cuando nosotros estemos más viejos en lo que tú dices, en 40 años van a decir, ¿sabes qué? Si la liga de antes era diferente porque antes no se habían hecho full cyberpunk como ahora somos. Like,
All I know is this
Yeah.
conversation could have been a lot shorter if I just had the balls to name 4 teams.
Oh, because
oh, I was
I
gonna
need
say
the
sin maltratar a
stats.
su
I
esposa,
don't
pero
have them.
también.
I don't have these stats, dude. I need
You
them.
don't need
That's
stats,
what I'm
bro.
gonna
Go with your
figure.
gut. Go
Yes,
with
I
your
do.
gut.
¿Sabes qué,
No,
Joel? There was a glorious
I
moment,
don't
güey,
vote
donde
on
se te
field.
hincharon los huevos y hablaste con poder en tu voz y te creí, güey.
What did I say? I
Tus
did,
niños te
but
respetaron un poquito más y dijeron, ay, güey, papá a lo mejor nos va a pegar hoy.
sacó el cinto. No, dude, it's because this is I would say one thing I really like about the league, MX, is just how competitive it is. Like how the teams aren't that far apart from each other, and I think that's changed a lot as opposed to before, where you would see teams like just to name like a San Luis, they would suck day in day out, and now because of how much the game's changed, and even going with transfers and all of that, they could put up a fight or put up a really good team. I don't think they're building the teams as strong as before. Like like Toluca, like the team they had when they had like Cardoso, Fabian Estay, they had like Ciña, they had all these like big names, or I won't say big names, but like players that were like really talented. And it's much harder now because you see like with Europe started buying way more foreigners, so they started depleting the talent. Then we seen MLS who's been taking players too, and then like Middle East and even like Japan and China, all taking talented players. So there's like I say less to choose from because I haven't seen teams that would play like if you go back to '90s with some of like the way Toros Nesa play, the way Toluca, some of these teams, America when Leo Ben Hacker was there. I mean, to me they were playing way better. I really haven't seen some of these teams play like that to that level.
Dude, we got a little game of show and tell here. You're showing me everything, but you're telling me nothing, man.
Espérate, ahora
Well, I'm
una de
just
las cosas
saying.
que
Well,
quería
that's
decir, bueno, at least what I heard was shit changes, right? Over time. And like el San Luis de antes no es el San Luis de hoy, ¿verdad? Y no podría ser. Y es genial porque una de las cosas que yo quiero hablar es del San Luis, ¿verdad? Porque mira, estaba pensando we've talked about it y antes habíamos hablado del invertimiento que había habido en San Luis de parte del Atlético, ¿verdad? Que como ese partnership todavía estaba vigente y estaban trabajando en él. And most of all, the glow up that San Luis has had over the last couple of years is actually fairly impressive. And that's kind of speaks to the league in general, how everyone can move up and down. Pero, like, es una de esas cosas de las que hay que reconocer y saber que todo cambia, güey. Like, lo mismo, no va a estar igual, todos vamos a movernos, ¿verdad? Entonces, ese es el pedo. Ahora, una de las cosas que quiero hablar es cómo se siente sentir que un equipo chico te haga pasar vergüenza cuando según tú eres el más grande y ya estaban muertos. ¿Verdad? ¿Cómo perdiste un juego en casa donde tu afición te abuchó, te dijo de madres?
Oh, what a loser! You're talking like a loser right now. Your team was at home watching the game. And let me clear something up. San Luis es más grande que Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul vale verga desde ya
oh,
10
this,
años. These
this
guys
guy
don't exist.
keep fighting.
When you look at Cruz Azul, if whenever you see a fan out in the open with a shirt, they have a lot of heart for wearing that jersey because they're admitting they're America's bitch in public.
Oh shit!
And
Oh,
another
take
thing,
notes. This is how you join the pod, dog.
Oh, dude.
another thing. I overheard you guys talking about grande, this and that. There's only one grande. It's America. But you guys were talking about Chivas, about the titles in the Jurassic period with the Velociraptors, with the Triceratops, with the with all that good stuff, right? It's the same situation. Chivas is in the same predicament that the Boston Celtics are in the NBA. They won all their titles in black and white, except those guys won it with a bunch of white guys doing bounce passes and uh, dribbling the ball in a circle around everyone without no black guys around. That's what happened. Chivas won their titles because they had the best, quote unquote, best Mexicans. That just goes to show every other team in the league at that time must have had really mediocre Mexicans if they had the best at something. So it doesn't. So those titles were that's a really ridiculous fanboyish argument when you say, "Oh, America is the only team that surpassed us." So you've been sitting on your ass for like 60 years. That's like that's the lowest of the low.
The whole league has been sitting on their ass.
The whole league.
That's a whole yes, the whole league except
Except
America.
America's over you. America is in the final, and you're mad, and I feel it.
No
I
one's
feel it.
mad.
I smell it.
I literally said America's
I
gonna
smell
win
it.
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 I
Who's
smell
mad?
the fear.
Those are the
The
voices
media.
in your head. I literally said
You know what I'm
America's gonna
hearing?
win it.
You're right. I'm hearing something. You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing your heartbeat. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing
That
your
America's
fist
gonna
ball
win. You're
up like
probably confusing
Arthur.
me with that DS.
I'm hearing your fist ball up like Arthur. Your butthole's puckering. That's what I hear. Tienes miedo. You feel it and you know it.
Zero.
Tigres
Oh,
isn't a
man.
match for America. Look,
Oof.
let's be honest. Let's cut the bullshit. I know you guys are Chivas fans. Let's cut the bullshit. If if you guys didn't get all those bullshit calls last year, and you get that red card with Fidalgo,
Oh,
America's
still
in that
butthurt about
final,
that.
and they push Tigres shit in, and you guys know it.
¿Cuál, güey? ¿Cuál no push Tigres shit in? Güey,
Wait, well,
Tigres les ha
Y'all always
metido
gotta
la
be
Tigres
ñonga de
has
serious.
América. ¿Y qué, güey?
let's
¿Cuántas
take
veces y todavía
let's
lloran?
take it
Tú,
there.
tú
Let's take
bien
it there.
sabes,
Wait,
güey, que el
how did
Tigres
Tigres
les
get
va a
to that
meter
final
la
last
pura
season?
pinche
How
pipa
did they get
y
to the
vas a
final
estar
last
llorando al
season?
fin de la noche.
How did Tigres get to that final last season?
Con pura pinche garra, that's how they got
Your
there.
team wins every 30 years, and they got to sell themselves off in semis against Pumas the year before. So if you're a Tigres, if you're a Cruz Azul fan, you're a lowlife. You're a scumbag because you're rooting for a team that sold itself off.
Damn, dude.
Ah, sí, güey,
And that's the
versus
truth.
uno que compra todo. Te compra los títulos,
You got
compras
proof
los
of that?
árbitros, compras todo lo demás.
That's another.
No mames,
That's
güey.
the typical lame
A ver,
mediocre
tú, güey,
Mexican
tú bien
argument.
sabes que la de Cendejas era una
Every
pinche falta, güey.
every
Todos
bullshit
dijeron.
team like
¿Y
Cruz
sabes qué, güey?
Azul,
Si no era
No,
falta,
you gotta.
Pumas,
tampoco
Your
era
argument is
penalti.
bullshit.
Chivas.
Espérate, no, no,
This
no, no,
team
no,
got
no.
Everyone had the
winning
Si
same
no
titles
era
during
argument.
this
falta,
time,
no era
Everyone had the
penalti.
but no
same
one has
argument.
surpassed them.
You guys seen America
No, güey, tú
jump
cállate,
over
pendejo.
you,
Estamos
and
hablando de algo más.
you
Güey,
were
tú,
sitting on
espérate,
your
no.
ass doing nothing. And your only excuse, since you've seen that team coming up, the only thing you can't do anything. You don't have the money to compete, so you make up excuses.
Well, we don't
And
have
you're
the money to
saying,
compete pa
"Oh,
pura pinche
they must
feria
be winning
aquí.
because their team is owned by Televisa." That's the lamest. You must be brain dead if you're thinking that crap.
Güey,
You're a
¿crees que estoy
loser if
brain
you're
de
thinking
tú,
that.
güey? Todos sabemos que
You
nomás
just
los
mentioned
niños
it.
pendejos y jotos son
You
los que
root
le
for
van
a
a la
loser
América.
ass team. Your team sucks. Your team is America's bitch.
Loving this energy. He's been hanging out with Peso Pluma in that in the VIP
Doing that
section.
cocaine. Yeah, he sounds like a cokehead right now.
Hey, yeah. And you
¿Por
sound
qué,
like
güey?
your
Porque se
team
nos
got
hinchan los
fucked by
huevos.
Pumas. That's why you sound. Your team got fucked by Pumas. Bottom of the
guy.
barrel, Pumas.
You
A team that
literally
can't,
2
they
minutes
can't
ago.
compete with America.
2 minutes ago,
That
you
team
said
can't compete
that
with America.
it was because of
And you
Fidalgo's
lost to them.
fall and
You
some
lost
stupid
to a
mistakes
guy
that
with
America
per,
lost.
you guy
And then the
with
tournament
to a
before
guy with
that, because Ochoa
a
had
one trick
butterfingers against
pony.
Toluca.
Your team lost to a
Always
One trick
one
pony.
trick
excuses.
pony, and you had him on the
Excuses. That's
team,
all
and
you
you picked
do.
the other bum. You had him
Yep.
Excuses.
on the other. You had both of them, and you
Yep.
picked the shittier one. You picked the shitty bum.
This is Ricardo's
This,
evil origin story, dude. He's just
baby, hey, this guy can't get. I'm in Houston, and he's in the Midwest. I know he can't
No,
get any
güey.
sleep.
Es
He's
que se
punching his wall
enchila
right
y
now. He's
sabe, como
scratching his
dije, güey,
skin.
Freddy Krueger está
He
ahí
can't deal with
y
it.
es
America
Tigres.
is all he thinks about.
No,
They're
güey,
they're winning the 18th, and he's you might find him somewhere with a with a note under under laying under his body. He might be hanging down on a tree somewhere. This will be his last. This will be the end of him. He can't stand what America's about to do, and he knows it's gonna happen.
¿Sabes qué, güey? That's a lot of big talk porque todos sabemos que atrás en las noches ahí estás llorando porque sabes que Tigre
How many
viene
times
por
have you
ti,
seen
güey.
your team champion?
¿Yo?
Yeah, how many times?
Güey, no te preocupes de mí, güey. No estamos hablando de
Oh,
mí, no
okay.
estamos hablando de los chemos. Estamos hablando de
And
cómo
you know
es
why
que
we're not
Tigre se
talking
va a
about them?
meter la
Porque
pinche
valen
pija.
verga.
Está
Valen
bueno, güey.
verga.
Está
Your
bueno.
team is
Ahorita y
shit.
esta temporada
You've
no
only
valió
seen him
verga.
You've only seen him champ once in your. I'm about
Güey,
to see. I'm
¿crees que soy
about to
tan
see
plebe o qué?
America champion 6 fucking times. You'll never see that with your team, ever. Chivas either.
Hijos.
Pumas menos. So how are you guys
I don't
big?
know, man.
If you
I
¿Y
think
how are you
they.
guys
Tigres
big?
qué, güey?
Explain that to me.
Ok, está bueno, güey, pero Tigres qué, entonces dale su pinche respeto a donde va, ¿verdad? Como yo siempre he dicho, del puro pinche mero norte es donde soy. Entonces, de aquí somos. No, güey, no
Also,
mames.
Villamelo,
Tigres,
you root for two
Tigres te va.
teams, so you're
No,
so
güey,
you're
no. Game recognized game, esa es la diferencia. Y
nah.
Tigres se va a meter el Chile, pero pues ahí
Your
no hay
team, you
pedo,
root for a
¿verdad?
loser ass
Bien
team that
sabemos que
sold
tú les
itself
tienes
out.
oh
miedo.
man.
Y aquí está lo bonito, es que te van a ganar,
Cruz
se van a
Azul,
convertir uno de los
and
nuevos
that's your
grandes.
joy. That'll
Y
be your
¿sabes qué es
Christmas
lo
present,
bonito,
right?
güey? ¿Sabes qué es lo
That's
van
your
a...
Christmas present.
No, güey, ¿sabes qué va a
That,
ser lo mejor? Es que
that's
van
your
a
New Year's
decir,
present.
le
You're rooting
ganamos
for
a
America to
Chivas,
lose.
le ganamos a
You're rooting for
América,
America to
somos
lose.
el nuevo grande. Y esa es la cosa.
Nah,
Dude, you guys,
you root
o
for
sea,
two.
tienes
Look,
miedo, güey. That's this whole
this
thing.
is what
That's why
makes
you're like,
America different.
rah,
Look,
rah, rah, rah.
this is what makes America different. America's playing this final against the rest of the Liga MX.
Yep.
That's what makes it
It's
different.
America versus the rest of the world, dude. Nobody
When
wants to see y'all
Chivas
win.
makes the final, it's Chivas and everyone else. The whole it's Mexican power, the power of Mexican friendship, the power of Mexican families all together, all for one. But when they lose, we're Mexican. But when they win, they're Mexican. That's a small team like Close. That's a crutch you guys use. You use that as a crutch and as an excuse.
Wait, I want to debate this because the only people I hear say this is America fans.
Oh, well,
I
let's
hear
hear.
America fans and Joel say, "Oh, es que porque jugamos con mexicanos." I never
And you
hear
do, don't you?
actual
You said
Chivas
it in the last
fans.
pod.
I
You
never
said it
hear
in the last
actual
pod.
Chivas
You
fans
said
say
it in the last pod.
mexicanos.
You
No, I
said
never
it.
said our weakness
You
is
said it,
mexicanos.
liar. You're a
No,
liar.
I said the weakness is not having money to
Speak
buy
your
the
lies,
best
liar.
mexicanos.
You're a
The
fake
problem is
news
not
demon.
mexicanos.
You don't know what
No
you're
one has ever
saying.
said, "Hey, we lost
You
to
blame
Pumas because we don't
when
have
you win,
extranjeros."
you're a proud
That is
Mexican,
just
and when
some
you
bullshit
lose,
that
you're a
Alvarito
sorry
Morales,
Mexican. That's
Faitelson,
what you
one
say.
of those idiots spewed, and an idiot like you ate it up.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
can
he's
do
mad.
repeat
Hey,
it.
he's mad.
You vomit it. You
He's
just
mad.
vomit that shit.
You're
You love
mad.
vomiting it.
You're mad, and you know I'm right.
No, I'm not mad.
You
I'm
use
saying
that
you're
as
an
a
idiot.
crutch, and you're the main example. You're the main example.
I have never
Chivas is where
said
it's at because of
never said that
fools like
Chivas
you.
is bad because of
Chivas is where
Mexicans.
it's at because fools like you eat everything they shit.
No, bro.
They take a
Alvarito
shit in a
Morales
plate,
takes a big
and you
shit on a
eat it.
plate, and then
You
you
eat
eat
it.
it up, and you ask for
You
seconds.
eat it. You said that it was fake news about the Vega and the Chicote bullshit. You said, "Oh, this America fan, he's just a hater." And what happened? I was right about that too. And
What
you ended
are
up
you
looking like a
talking about?
fool. You ended
I
up looking
said
like a
there is
fool.
no. We never got any proof of
You,
what they got Chicote.
Chivas is where it's at because of mediocre fans like you. You excuse everything they do. You
No
hype
one
up
No
everything they
mames,
Oh,
do.
güey. No, no,
man.
espérate, güey.
No one is
¿Ves, güey?
excusing
Este sí vino por los terrenos.
Ricardo's in rare form tonight, man.
Yeah, I think his wife finally like divorced him, so he's taking out nuts.
Oh, here,
He probably
hey,
got tired
hey,
of the
I
ass
know.
eating.
you're so
He
mad. I
called-
know you're so mad right now.
Oh, look,
I'm not
we'll
mad,
be.
my guy.
You're,
If
you're
you,
so
I'm gonna tell you
cursed.
the same thing I
Your
told you.
stomach hurts.
I
Your ass
Tune in
hurts.
early.
Mira,
Your,
Look.
eso
you
es
have
lo que
the
yo voy a
worst
decir. La
migraine
cosa
right
es,
now.
I think
You
America.
have
es
the
Nuevo
worst
León
migraine
contra
right now.
todo México, carnal. Nuevo
Yeah.
León contra todo México. Como
America
yo
is
dije,
gonna
sí.
win this shit.
Cuando Tigres gane, no es sí, güey.
Oh,
Cuando
and you're gonna
Tigres
celebrate,
gane,
right? You're
no,
gonna
güey.
celebrate.
No,
You're
yo
gonna
nomás,
celebrate because you got a loser ass team.
güey, estoy hablando del norte. Nuevo
You know I'm
León
right.
is gonna
You're,
file for independence and break
if
away from Mexico.
America's downfall would be your happiness because you got a loser ass team.
Güey,
Like the
America's
rest of
downfall
the
is always my happiness. ¿Sabes
yeah,
por
because
qué,
you
güey?
got a
Porque
loser
eso es
ass
lo que
team.
haces. No, güey,
You
eso es
root
tu
for a
rival.
team that's a bottom feeder.
You're being
Me
a
vale verga, that's your
Successful
rival.
team.
And if you don't celebrate your
when
When I
rival's
Chivas
flush
went
the
downfall,
down, you
toilet,
were
that's
eres
the
celebrating.
pendejo.
sound
You're still
Cruz Azul
celebrating
fans
about
make.
Chivas losing. That's
Man.
part of being a rival. Your rival wins, you're not happy to see it. Your rival loses, you're happy. You
That's
celebrate
it.
Chivas being in the bottom all the time. What's the difference between him celebrating America losing? That's the whole point of a rivalry, dumbass.
No shit. Hey, why are you so mad, Ravio? You sound so
I'm
like
not
people
mad,
are
man.
listening to this, and you're fuming right now.
This
You
is
you got
zero
the
fuming.
Arthur balled up hand. You can't stand it,
Zero
can you?
fuming,
Man,
man.
I cannot wait for this final to kick off.
Oh man, you got.
Yo, we might have to do a pod on Thursday night.
Hey,
Nomás para ver a este güey
pero se
llorar
enojó. Se
cuando le
enojó.
meten el chile.
Ravioli's mad.
Hey, if America loses,
Hey,
you guys
your
do the
team lost,
podcast
man.
¿Cuál
right
if,
Your
güey?
team
after the
¿Cuál
lost.
game.
What are you
if?
talking
I
about?
promise you,
¿Cuándo?
Ricardo does
What
not show
insight
up.
could you bring to
If
this
someone's gonna be
conversation?
hanging from a tree, it's
Your
gonna be that guy.
team lost. You America didn't. This is a big boy. This is a big boy final. Your team needed every help it could get to the final last year, and that's a fact. This is the best two teams in the league, and for the longest time meeting up against each other.
This is the new Mexican Classic.
And it is.
Es el nuevo Clásico Nacional.
This
No
is
mames,
more
güey.
of a
El de
clásico
Chivas.
than America versus Chivas, and you can't convince me otherwise. The numbers prove it too.
So, Ricardo, earlier today we were naming our new top four, right? And we all had a consensus that Pumas is no longer considered a equipo grande. So, what would be your top four in Liga MX?
See, this is where I disagree with you guys too, Jaime. Let me calm down, because I'm so excited because America's in the final. This is the sixth title they're gonna raise. A lot of you guys will never know how this feels, especially Ravioli. I don't look. First of all, you can't put Pumas there at all because you already got that damn walking cadaver of a corpse, that skeleton. Jose Ramon admitting it was all bullshit of them being grande. He just made it up because he worked at the opposite TV station of Televisa, and he was salty because his bum ass didn't have any TV rights. So Pumas isn't grande, no matter how you put it. So that's fake news.
Yep, we all agree there.
And you can't put Cruz Azul there either.
Oh,
Because they're low.
¿Qué
Because they're
pedo,
low
puto?
life.
¿Qué?
And
Cuídate lo que
you
dices
can't,
antes que te reviente.
you can't put a bum ass team that's only won one title in like 30 years like that automatically disqualifies you. You can't put them there.
Oh, Shay's go for the jugular, man.
And that's a fact, and no one can deny that.
All right,
Now for the rest of the teams,
we're listening.
America's clearly number one. No, and you can't debate it. America's number one in international trophies, most fans, biggest team, most beautiful jersey, everything.
They are the biggest in titles.
¿Cuál most beautiful jersey, güey? La cambian
Yeah.
cada pinche temporada.
Yeah, because it's so. Look, what's the Cruz Azul jersey? It just is Cruz Azul and it's blue.
¿Quieres decir
And has
una
that
camisa
bum-ass
icónica,
cement, has that
reconocida en
bum-ass
todo el
cement
mundo?
logo. Come on.
¿Cuál, güey? La cementera más grande en México, no mames. Respeta nuestro producto
Wait,
nacional.
is it
Ya
bigger
sé
than
que eres
Cemex?
pocho.
It's not bigger than Cemex, man.
En
He's just spreading
México,
his fake news.
en
Oh,
México
in Mexico.
sí.
Oh, here's your biggest
Cemex es
fact.
mundial y
Cement
esa es
maker
la
bag.
diferencia.
Mm,
Esa es la diferencia.
okay, so
Pero en México, Cruz Azul.
no Pumas, no Cruz
Producto
Azul.
doméstico.
I'm loving it. All right, who's
No,
in?
no Pumas, no Cruz Azul. If you had to put a third team, it would be Chivas, and that's if you had to
Wait,
put
who's second?
Toluca.
Oh shit. Okay.
Has to be. Has to be. What they've been more consistent than any. Recently, they haven't been consistent.
Yeah.
They have made some finals, but the silverware speaks for itself, and the time when they won the silverware speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about beating up on on bum Mexicans in the 50s and 30s against the Triceratops and the T Rexes.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about who you beat, when did you beat them, and how did you beat them, and what did you get when you beat them. Kind of like boxing. Canelo beat Shane Mosley when he was 40.
Yep.
That doesn't count. When he should have beat him. You can't. You don't have a time machine, obviously, but if you would have beat him in his 20s, it would have been. It looks
Yeah.
better, and you get more credit for that.
Yeah. The problem with Toluca is, they've had a dry spell for over a decade. So, but I do agree that they should be considered a grande. So where do you put who's in fourth? We have
Güey, ya ni me acuerdo qué fue lo que dijo. So, claro,
said-
pues
he
se la
said
está
Ameri-
jalando, ¿verdad? América.
Toluca.
America, and that's it. And if
América, cállate
and
los
if you
hocico,
had to
pendejo,
put
de
other
algo
teams,
relevante.
it would have to be Toluca, then Chivas.
Uh-huh. And no 4?
No 4.
Damn. See, that was the one I wanted to know because, I put Pachuca in the as far as a big club just because of their recent success in both international and domestic.
See, the reason you can't put Pachuca in there is because they're how do I put this? They're a business club. As soon as they're done with, like you can say this about any team, but as soon as they win one chip, they unload and they're shit for like 6 years or 5. Or I'm exaggerating, maybe less than that.
Yeah, they play Moneyball.
There you go, Moneyball. That's what they do, and Santos too. So you can't put both those guys there, even though they do got the chips.
Yeah. So what about Tigres?
See, this is where it gets interesting. For whatever reason, if there's like a comet that hits the Estadio Azteca on the final 17th, and God rains His fury on America for whatever reason, and they fail to
Excuses.
win,
Yep.
or the plague passes by while America wins, crazy things like that happen, and they for whatever reason would win the bicampeonato, you would have to. I don't care what anyone says. If you say different, you're just a hater, and you're bringing up old shit, and you're living in the past. They have to be grande. Have
Yep.
to. What they did, no other team has done recently.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Libertadores final, Club World Cup final.
Yep.
They've been very consistent in the league, and they've always. And how are you guys shitting on Joel for saying being consistent in the league is a bad thing? Big teams are always consistent. That's a barometer you have to use when you're measuring these teams. Have to, man.
No one's saying it's a bad thing. Saying that the titles at the end of the day is what it's more
Matters.
important.
No, Pachuca and Santos. That's why I don't rate Pachuca and Santos as big teams. They got the titles, but they don't got the rest of this shit.
Yeah.
And Tigres has all that. Or you
Yeah,
could
but
say
those guys have
you
less
could say,
titles than Tigres. No one's.
but who have they beat for those titles? They beat America.
I'm not
Who
saying
else?
Santos is bigger than Tigres or Pachuca is bigger than them. I would put Tigres above them because Tigres has more titles. The titles is what's the most important at the end.
But
Same way right now, Tigres
you
has
got to
8.
keep in
If
mind.
Tigres gets their 9th title, then Cruz Azul needs to start worrying because they're tied for ninth. And then the last 20 years, Tigres has been superior to them. So that starts knocking Cruz Azul out of the top four.
No, Cruz Azul doesn't exist. They don't exist. They're a
Damn.
has been team. Has been. The numbers say that. Is I'm me just talking shit. The numbers
Otra
say that.
vez, güey, me respetas o si no te
Nah,
parto el hocico.
nah.
No, the numbers don't say that because if you go with Joel's point that you were arguing about being more consistent, Cruz Azul is up there. If it was as far as just the standings alone, as far as points, Cruz Azul would have a lot more titles than they
How
have
Yep.
many
right now.
finals have they lost?
A lot.
How
A lot,
many?
but that's your whole point of
How
being
many?
consistent.
Answer that though.
I've
Answer
No,
that.
lost count.
I was arguing with Joel
Diaz,
that
how many
exact same
finals have they
thing.
lost?
It does. They lost
Güey,
all the
pues
finals.
déjame ver cuántas quemadas
Count
de
them out.
cigarro
Joel's
tengo y ahorita te
argument is that
digo.
they've been
You don't even.
consistently fighting for it.
But see, here's the thing. This is what you guys don't get. If you, I understand losing a final here and there. These fuckers have lost finals consistently,
Yep.
They've lost the Booker T. There's Booker T of losing titles. The five time.
Buffalo
Liga
Bills.
MX, Liga MX title losers. If you're a consistent loser, even though you're consistent in the league, you're just labeled a loser, not being consistent.
Güey,
You
pero
hear that,
todos
Joel?
sabemos
You
por
hear that?
qué. Todos sabemos por
But
qué.
that's the only
Porque
case for
Cruz
Cruz
Azul
Azul.
is a money laundering machine. The fact that we're a really good soccer team is a whole different other fact.
But that's the only
Right?
team that
Porque
does that.
somos una
So
pura
they're in a
pinche
class of their
bestia.
own. They're in the loser class of their own.
Pues me
Other
vale
teams,
verga, güey, pero como un
other teams
pinche
have lost
degenerate
finals.
gambler, you have
Chivas
to
have lost
respect that.
finals. America lost finals. Every team loses finals. There isn't a perfect team, but these guys are always losing. So
Sí,
that
güey, okay,
so
sí,
they're
they lose
consistent
titles, pero
losers.
dime,
So
güey, ¿quién tiene
you
la
can't
clase
you
y la
guys can't give
elegancia
them credit for
para
being
vender
consistent.
una final como nosotros? Nadie. Aquí, papá, te estoy enseñando cómo hacer negocios y cómo puedes ganar hasta perdiendo. Entonces, así puedes aprender, ¿verdad?
No,
Como dije, estoy aquí para educar a los nacos y a los pendejos, ¿verdad?
when
Y
Carlos
como dije antes, los
Hermosillo
únicos que le
said
van
the
a...
team is a gutter, it's a gutter rat team, I'm gonna take his word for it, not yours.
¿Qué? ¿Que te enseñamos cómo hacer negocio? Pues muchas gracias. Para eso es para lo que estamos ahora, como dije yo antes. Solamente los niños pendejos y putos le van al América.
Y los que
ya
le van al
entiendo
Cruz
por qué,
Azul,
¿verdad?
what are you guys? You're not
Los que
winners.
saben aguantar.
You're not winners.
Los que, ¿sabes qué? Los que saben una palabra que se llama resilience. No sé si la conoces, ¿verdad? Porque pues
Oh,
fácil
America
es
fans don't need
alguien
to
que
know
compra
resilience
algo,
because they're not
¿verdad?
losing
Pues
five
no, güey,
titles
porque
in a
compran
row.
otra vez, como dije,
They're not losing 5 titles in a row, big guy, just like your
otra vez.
team.
Todo tu plantel es extranjero,
5
¿verdad? No,
teams.
no creces tu talento, lo compras. Compras
Oh
los
yeah.
Árbitros, tienes la
All
televisora,
right.
tienes todo
How
lo
many?
demás.
Name me five uh all time great Cruz Azul football players that we know. Name them off.
El Wikidios, todos conocemos al Wikidios. Vamos a empezar ahí.
La
Luego,
mano de Dios.
a huevo. Luego empieza, luego estamos con Santi, todos conocemos a Santi.
Nah,
Huescas.
how is he a legend?
Güey, ¿quién chingados está
he
diciendo de
was
leyendas?
he was a
Wait, I
sidekick.
don't know any
He
America
was,
I don't know any America leyendas. Like,
oh,
¿por
your
qué?
best
Porque
player
América
is
me la
an
pela.
America legend. What the hell are you talking about?
¿Cuál?
Your best player is an America canterano.
Ese güey no cuenta para mí, sí.
Who?
Y él dice, y él
Chaco?
mismo dice,
Carlos Hermosillo.
sí, pero
Oh.
Your
él dice,
biggest
soy canterano,
accomplishment was
pero,
one title with America canterano, and he won
pero
4
él
with
mismo,
America. Was he
pero
trying
cállate el
harder with
pincho
Cruz
hocico
Azul or with
pendejo y
America?
escucha. Él mismo dice, yo me identifico más con Cruz Azul que lo que me hago con América.
Oh, well,
¿Verdad?
the numbers don't show that because he won 4 with America and he won that lonesome with Cruz Azul. So he's clearly lying to your ass.
Pues ahí tú escuchas lo que
See,
tú quieres, ¿verdad?
see, this is you spreading fake news because you can't name me 4 legit Cruz Azul canteranos.
Damn.
You can't do it.
Because I can't name
So
you
so
four
you lied
América
about that.
Canteranos.
Huh?
I can't name you four América Canteranos
Well,
tampoco.
that's your
¿Por qué?
ignorance
Porque
because you started watching football 4 years ago.
No, güey, porque la América me vale verga.
Oh,
Por
pues
eso
sí,
mismo.
siempre te están cogiendo. ¿Por qué te va a importar?
No, güey, porque en mi mente
America's
son un
always
equipo que no vale
America
verga.
always has you,
Como
America
dije,
always
los
has your team bent
niños,
over.
los
Always has your
pendejos
team bent over.
y los putos son los que le van a la América.
Yeah, you root for a loser ass team that always loses to America. You're
Güey,
you're
nomás por...
admitting you're
Mira,
America's
mira,
bitch.
nomás
That's what
porque
you're
te
doing.
gusta el sabor del pito no quiere decir que
Oh, he's
seas
mad too.
puto.
Oh,
Estás bien.
too mad. Hey, Jaime, we got
¿Cuál,
two
güey? ¿Cuál
men
los
tonight.
enojados?
We
Yo
got
no.
Jaime. We got we got Ravioli and we got
Damn.
Mr. Can Sniffer. Two mad tonight.
¿Cuál, güey? Ok,
You're fucking
perfecto.
furious and you can't help it, can you?
No one's mad.
Your team is your
Damn.
team is the your team is what I do in the morning after I eat breakfast. I take a big shit in the toilet, and when I flush it, Cruz Azul is spelled out with the turds. That's what it is. Your team is a shit team.
You
Wow.
should
You can
shower
never
afterwards.
you can never compare your bum ass team to America, and you know that, and that makes you furious that America is going to add another title in your lifespan.
Yeah, and Cruz Azul is going to add a couple more. I'm not going to say as
Que
many
van,
as
que van,
America.
what are you talking? What are they going to
What are you
add?
talking about? That
They're
must
going to
make
add
him
shit.
furious. Le gusta sufrir, man. He doesn't want to be a glory hunter like you. Go for the easy choice.
Yeah,
Le gusta
easy.
sufrir. Le gusta la
A
vida
ver, ¿sabes
tóxica.
qué, güey? Vamos a ponernos un poquito personal y medio románticos, ¿verdad? Dime, güey,
Mm.
¿por qué le vas a la América?
Le
What
gusta
was the
robar
matter to you?
carteras.
I
Porque
started.
eres un
I
niño, eres un
started
pendejo
watching.
o eres
I
puto.
started.
Por eso
I
te estoy
started.
preguntando.
I started watching football in the late '90s. All right. So I can't. So what Ravioli just said is complete fake news, fluoride bullshit that he usually spills on these airwaves, on these Cantina MX airwaves. And in the '90s, America didn't win shit. And I've from the '90s onwards, I've seen them win six. They're gonna win their sixth title on Sunday. You can't say the same.
Oof. Man, what's that one saying? The tree makes the largest. I don't know. All I know is can't wait for this final,
The largest
Hi,
tree
man. You're
makes the
saying
loudest
that
sound
you're
once it
hoping
falls.
America loses to get Ricardo's reaction? Because
bro.
there won't be one. He will disappear for
Oh,
3
He
months.
will, bro. He's gonna become Patrick Star and fight and hide under the rocks. Like,
you,
no lo vamos a
you, you
encontrar.
guys, you guys
I,
don't
if
have anything
Güey,
America
te
better to
loses,
do
escondes, güey. Te
than
you
escondes
hope
y
do the
todos
for
podcast right
sabemos.
America's
after that final.
downfall.
That man
You
will not be
guys,
around. He'll
look,
show up
this is
3
what we
weeks later.
this is what we know is not gonna happen. This is what we know is not gonna happen. We're not gonna shit and choke down a final in the last 30 minutes.
Oof.
That's what we do. That's what only Chivas and Cruz Azul does that because they both have done that. Cruz Azul even worse. They lost it in the last 5 minutes. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
¿De cuál, güey? ¿Cuál estás hablando? ¿Qué pendejadas hablas? Señor, venga a la
So you
realidad.
didn't see the so you guys did so Cruz Azul didn't choke down the 2013 title.
Todavía
Didn't they
vives
choke?
de esa, güey.
Oh, okay. They don't
Ahí
count
estás,
since
ahí estás.
all the pain
Puro
you
pinche
made you
Televisa, ¿verdad,
forget,
güey? Es
but
todo
it's
lo que te
still there.
dicen.
The
Todo lo que dice
2018 one
Televisa. No,
is
pues
still
las del
there too.
2013 y que quién sabe qué. Que somos la mera verga, ¿no? Pinche. ¿Cómo se llama tu portero, güey? Que ahora es leyenda de ustedes y
Oh,
que
and he scored that goal on you.
comentarista,
And Moises
¿verdad?
Munoz, he scored that fucking
Ándale, ese es
sweet
el
goal on
güey.
your bum
Y
ass
ese es al
team.
que, y ese es
And
al que le prendes la
you
velita
can't
cada
sleep
cuaresma,
to this
¿verdad?
day because of it. You can't sleep to this day because of it, and you know it.
Hasta crees,
Look,
güey.
hey, now that you mention that, I seen a video on social media
Oh.
with the bum ass backup. They're crying about it. It's 2023 and you're still crying about that final. Imagine rooting for a bum ass loser team like that.
¿Con quién, güey?
Look, Corona's backup. He had that guy Castro that did the auto goal. Both those bums were on the podcast crying about it because they can't get over it.
Pues sí, güey, ¿quién es
Who's supposed to get over
a
that,
un
man?
pendejo
That has nothing to do
que
with
tu
America.
carrera no fue a ningún lugar, que ahora estás en un pinche podcast de tercera? ¿Y sabes qué, güey? ¿Cuál es su
Oh,
nombre? A lo mejor
you
nosotros
just
lo
named
podemos
off
tener
every
aquí.
single Cruz Azul player then.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just normal shit. Hugo Sanchez can't get over the fact that he didn't go to the 90 World Cup or something. That has nothing to do with the team. It's just normal shit.
So
that people
you're
can't get over.
comparing Hugo Sanchez not being
No,
called
I'm not
to World
comparing.
Cup
I'm saying
to
players
these
have shit they
losers
can't get over.
still crying
The
about being
Castro can't get
porked
over that
in the
goal. It has nothing to do with
2013
America.
final, be
It's
choking
about,
out a final just like Chivas did against Tigres.
it's his
That
personal.
must suck, man. Being so close right there at the cusp.
You have the same thing.
Look,
It's like,
you're at
what's
the
his
cusp,
name?
reaching
Jorge
out. The
Sanchez.
trophy's right
I can
there,
see you,
just
Jorge
like the Great
Sanchez, when he
Gatsby. You're
retires.
reaching out for the
He's
green
gonna do
light,
a
and
podcast
it's not
about
there.
how he screwed up
You
against
reach out your
Monterrey and
hand,
cost you the
and you
final.
open your palm, and there's a big ass dog turd instead of a trophy.
So you tell me Jorge Sanchez doesn't regret that mistake versus Monterrey
But
that lost America the final?
where is he on a podcast crying about
It's
it?
gonna happen.
Or
Eventually, he'll be on the
when it
podcast
happens, come
and
on this
look back.
podcast. If Jaime lets us on this podcast and complain about it. Until this day, like just
Not
deal
gonna
with it.
complain about it. It's
You're
normal
comp-
for players to
you're
regret
dealing
things
with
that didn't go their way.
hypotheticals because your ass hurts because America's gonna win the number 18. Deal with it.
Doesn't hurt. If
Oh,
anything, I
you've
got
been
money on
real mad
America to win.
tonight. You've been mad tonight.
I have not been mad.
Yeah, you're furious. You're punching.
I already have money on America.
You're
to win
punching
it.
the. Oh,
If
here.
anything,
Oh,
I might be a
see,
little
when
mad if they
America
don't.
wins it, he's gonna say, "Oh, I bet le puse dinero a la América." That's what he's gonna say. That's his go-to.
I think they're gonna win it. Why
No,
would I
man.
put money on them?
America's gonna shit all over Tigres, and you know it, and there's nothing
And
you
that's
can do
why I
about it.
put money on them.
Nah, that's bullshit, and you know it.
How's it bullshit?
Hey, in Habibi's defense, he's been saying that America is gonna win the championship for a couple episodes now. So
But he says it with a forked tongue. He doesn't mean it. He has his fingers crossed in his back while
he's
he
got
says
his
it.
money on it. That's why.
And he
I have my
says it.
money on it, bro. Your coach, se la mama de Jimmy Lozano for finishing in third place in the Olympics. Didn't the Brazilian guy win it?
Yeah, he did.
No, he actually won a gold
Yeah,
medal.
he actually won it.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows this shit. He did really well with San Luis. He's had San Luis up and running. With America, when they started out,
but
they
before
looked
you
a little
continue,
rough.
wait,
They looked
before
a
you
little
continue,
rough. And
before
then
you
they got
continue,
into the swing of
hey,
motion, and it's a well-oiled machine.
hey, before you continue, earlier in the year, you said that America did a bonehead move of picking him over that bum that just got that just ate 5 goals. So that's pie on your face again. Double whammy. You've been wrong all year, man. All year, and you're mad
No,
about it.
I didn't say it was a pie-head
Oh,
move.
you called him
I
a bum.
said
You called him a bum.
no.
Yeah, you
I
did.
said that you should be embarrassed. That
No,
your
you should be
America coach
embarrassed.
went and signed a
You should be
contract with
embarrassed, big guy.
Monterrey,
Your
but
team
he was
choked the
still
final.
Iniquia win.
Look,
Oh
look,
shit.
It shows that
look at the
Dano values
comparisons.
Monterrey
Look
more
at the
than
comparisons.
America. He's still in playoffs with you,
Paunovic
and he's
has
already
an
signed a
Olympic gold
contract with
medal.
someone else. He hasn't even
Jardine
signed the
has an
divorce
Olympic gold
paperwork,
medal.
and he's already
But
banging at the
Jardine's gonna lift
motel,
the
man.
title. Isn't that ironic?
It is
America's gonna
ironic.
win it.
But how do you feel that your coach, man?
America sips from the chalice of champions. Your team is a mediocre
No digas
team.
mamadas. No has
You're-
quedado campeón since
Oh, he's
2018, my guy.
super. Hey, people are gonna listen to this. The Cantina MX audience is gonna side with me because they know you're mad. Everyone knows
mad.
you're mad right now.
Not mad at all.
You're
Not
gonna go to sleep like that black guy from Don't Be a Menace. You're gonna be swinging everywhere. Oh, Ricardo really got me tonight, didn't he?
No, I'm gonna be sleeping like Mayweather, where he's counting the money on the table. That's how I'm gonna be sleeping.
I want to know where you got another. You said they're going for the 18, dude. Where did you get those fake numbers?
Jaime, you know the 8. You know what I'm talking about. The 18, Jaime. Come on.
Does Brother 85 count for like more titles?
FIFA counts this, so I count.
Where do you get 18 from, dog? You only got 13.
18. The league started in the 20s. You guys